Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Blue-Black Nethergoyf Tempo Control. And that's right, I said control because this build of the deck is a lot more controlling than the previous builds that I built. It's basically a mid-range deck that has an average curve of like 1.2 or something like that. Let's take a look at the deck. So first of all, Nethergoyf, if you're not familiar with it, gets bigger based on the number of card types you have in your graveyard. So land, artifact, sorcery, creature, instant. This thing can be a 5/6 creature for 1 mana that can keep coming back. You can escape it like you can with Uro and keep bringing it back. So a lot of decks just play 4 artifacts, they play 4 sorceries, and they hope that that's going to be enough. But I've kind of slightly increased the number of artifacts and sorceries here just to feed the Goyf a little bit. So this deck also plays, of course, Psychic Frog, Tamiyo, and I've got a couple tech creatures, and I've got an Emperor of Bones, which is really strong anti-blue-black control tech, and I've got a couple of Strix. What I did was I replaced my Brazen Borrowers with Strix because I thought about it a whole lot, and I was like, you know, Baleful Strix kind of performs the same task that Brazen Borrower does to an extent, but you get a card draw for it, and it's also an artifact. So let's try this. There can be cool turns where potentially we're swinging with a Nethergoyf and it's a 2/3 and we have a Psychic Frog out, and then we discard a Baleful Strix and then it becomes a 4/5 all of a sudden. So you can do cool combat tricks with the fact that Psychic Frog can discard, so these two kind of synergize a little bit, and it should be a lot of fun. So the deck is playing a lot of removal. We're playing 4 Fatal Push, and we're playing this Bloodchief's Thirst, which is kind of a sorcery speed Fatal Push that you can kick up. You can kicker it, and it can destroy any creature, and it can also hit planeswalkers. This is important because it hits Flip Tamiyo, and it's our only immediate means of just getting rid of a Tamiyo. We also, of course, have lots of counter magic. We've got the 4 Force of Wills, but we went down to 3 dazes from 4 because, again, we're moving away from control a little bit and or tempo a little bit and more towards control mid-range. And I threw in a Stifle because my theory on Stifle is, just playing 1 Stifle, you get like almost as much value as playing 4 of them, because the second you Stifle somebody, they just assume, oh no, I need to be careful about my land drops for the rest of this match. I need to be careful when I fetch. I need to be cognizant of the fact that Stifle can, stop my Tamiyo ultimate trigger and things like that, right? So it adds to the cognitive load of the game. And then we have a single Thoughtseize as well, because Thoughtseize, it just randomly sometimes is very powerful, but you don't want to draw a whole lot of Thoughtseize. It's a pretty bad top deck, but it is a sorcery, and it's easily discardable to Psychic Frog if we do draw it late game. So that's the deck. Sideboard is basically tuned to fight 3 major decks, the Mirror / the blue-black control deck. So blue-black in general, just blue-black creature-based aggro. And then, of course, Eldrazi, which is probably the most represented deck on MTGO right now. I seem to run into it constantly. And then Painter, which is probably the other of the 3 top archetypes right now. I have some Force Negations just in case we run into random combo decks, which I seem to run into all the time. I moved one of my Brazen Borrowers to the side, and I just got rid of the other one. So this will come in against like Dark Depth strategies, maybe come in against Painter because it can hit a construct. It can bounce a Painter out of play when they're trying to grindstone us, things like that. I've got a long goodbye to deal with Psychic Frog. I've got a Toxic Deluge, which can come in against like Nadu decks and other creature-heavy decks, and potentially come in against Eldrazi. I think it's correct to board this in against Eldrazi because you can potentially wipe their board at great cost, but you can wipe their board. And I've got a Powder Keg versus lands. It can blow up the artifact lands. It can blow up lots of zero-cost permanents, constructs, things like that. And the big thing that I'm into is 4 Orcish Bowmasters in the sideboard, because I think Orcish Bowmasters is still an insane crack card, but it is not good main deck. It's much better when you know, oh, okay, I'm up against like a Miracles deck, or I'm up against Up the Beanstalk deck. I'm going to board this in. Or I'm up against a Bowmasters deck. I should board this in because Bowmasters is the best answer to Bowmasters. And then we got 2 Harbinger of the Seas, primarily for Eldrazi and 12 post matchups. So this is the deck. As always, we're going to play 5 rounds. Please leave a comment with a timestamp And any punts that you see me make, any questions you have about my gameplay decisions, that is incredibly helpful. I will never shoot the messenger. I will always reply to your comment and try to learn from your observations. And that is what I'm doing. I am playing to learn. I am not a pro level player. Do not expect pro level play, but expect a lot of introspection, a lot of thinking out loud and ruminating over every little decision, because that's my jam. I'll see you in round one. All right, round one, we're up against Yun Yok, who was most recently seen playing a bug kind of control deck, similar to what I've been playing a lot lately. This hand doesn't have a lot going on, but it does have Psychic Frog, and I think every card's going to matter. They do play, I believe, a lot of Wastelands. They've got 4 Wastelands in their deck, so I think that it's good to keep a land-heavy deck. I might even be able to bait out some early Wastelands here. I'm going to keep this. We're on the play. All right, so I'm going to just open Underground Sea, now Spellbomb, and I'm going to hope to bait them into wasting. Actually, yeah, I think that's fine. I'm not going to be able to play anything next turn because they also have 4 Dazes in their deck. So what I actually love for them to do is waste me, and then I can just play the island, and I can play a Nile Spellbomb. All right, it looks like it's working. It looks like they're wasting us. I'm trying to think if there's anything in their deck that would punish us playing out multiple Nile Spellbombs. They may have Witherbloom Command. They do. They have 2 Witherbloom commands, so we're not going to want to play these out, and we are going to want to crack through them slowly. So I think, oh, Nethergoyf's a great pickup. I think I'm going to go ahead and get another Underground Sea and just play a Nethergoyf here. And I did change out one of my Wastelands for a Surveillance, so we are only playing 3 Wasteland, just as a more controlling, less tempo-y thing. But I like Nethergoyf's Arrival. They do have Uro in their deck. I think the longer the game goes, the more favored they become. For sure, they're the bigger control deck. But I think we may be able to get some early tempo, especially if we can get them, you know, wasting our lands and things like that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby. That is exactly what we wanted to see. Now, we don't have black mana anymore, which is a bummer, but eventually we will draw black mana. The important thing is we have they have nothing on the table, and we're developing. All right, this is great because this means I can put an artifact into my graveyard without having to crack my Nile Spellbomb. So they're drawing a Brainstorm. That's good to know. I'm just gonna play an island, and I'll attack, and I'll pass, and I'm gonna hold my Spellbomb. Do I want to hold my Spellbomb? They don't actually have a way to destroy both Spellbombs, and they're 2 turns away from Witherbloom Command. I think I could play it out. I think it's mana efficient. It's not like they have like some artifact sweeper. They do have a Life from the Loam, which I need to look out for. Which, the moment I have a fetch that can fetch my basic, I will use it. Because I do want to get the basic swamp out of my deck. They shouldn't be able to do anything against my basics. It's not like they're running Ghost Quarter or anything. They're probably like, why all the main deck spell bombs? That's weird. But it is weird. But unfortunately, I think it's a necessary precaution these days. All right, so we get the card off our Bauble. Another Psychic Frog. Not going to complain about that. If they don't get basic here, I will waste them. Just because they've already used 3 of their lands, and it's possible they don't have a lot of lands. I think they probably should get a basic here, but they may not. Because, okay, they did get the basic. And they have Brainstorm up. Okay, they're pondering. All right. We will continue to deal damage. Yeah, that's another card that we can't cast, sadly. So I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to play out the Wasteland right now because... well, actually, do they have any other non-basics in their... they could Wasteland my Wasteland, which would suck. Because I do want to take out one of the lands. But I think it is correct to play out the Wasteland here. Since like everything in their deck is... And I do want to have plenty of Daze protection for my Frog the moment I get a Black Source. The moment I get a Black Source, it's on. I'm going to start jamming. I want them to know that every land they play out here is going to be one shot. All right, they're passing. They may have like some sort of end step thing. I don't think they're playing Bowmasters. Oh, they are playing 4 Bowmasters, at least on this most recent one. Right? Oh, more cards we can't cast, sadly. I'm going to go ahead and attack. Yeah, and the bummer about these spell bombs is we could use them, certainly we'll use it if if they're about to escape Uro, but in general we don't want to do anything. So them cutting off our, or like just having that being not a fetch they could get a black source is really unfortunate. But so it's important to note that there wasn't anything different we could have done here. We were going to lose those 2 underground seas, and I wasn't going to go fetch, like I didn't have any other basic that I could fetch with that particular flooded strand. So it's just the way that the draws shook out. I'm going to try something here because I've heard that, okay, there we go. We got it wide enough that we get 2 cards, 2 columns. This is nice. Okay, good. And I also put my text over here. Some people were complaining that I put it over here just because I actually like read it all the time and make sure that what I'm clicking and confirming and stuff is good. Okay. So they are going to get a trigger here, and I am going to go ahead and waste after they see what it is. They've had lots of cantrips to potentially find something. They put a force in the graveyard. I'm going to go ahead and hit this now just to deny them some mana. I realize their black cards are more important than their blue cards. Their black lands, rather. Okay, they're brainstorming. This could be that them trying to bait out a daze with a 1 mana brainstorm, or they could indeed be like brainstorm locked. How many lands have they played? 19? They played 20 lands, which is good and conservative, and I approve. So they're less likely to get locked here, but they did get locked. All right, well, that's good. I mean, Nethergoyf is doing some serious damage here, just taking out chunks of 2 every turn, and they have to go to discard. All right, that's got to feel bad. Discarding Fatal Push when you have a Nethergoyf beating you down. All right, so I think we daze anything here just to get another card type in our graveyard so we can do more damage. We do have 8 cantrips in our deck. It's just a matter of time before we find one, and then we can start going to town and deploying more Nethergoyfs and stuff. Meanwhile, our opponent has to draw through this brainstorm lock. Yeah, they're not putting anything on the stack. Discarding a Bowmaster. Unfortunately, oh, that's the card we were waiting for. I'm going to do it before combat. And if they... Well, I'm just going to daze back for sure. Oh, wait, I can't daze back. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm not going to daze this. And... Sorry, I'm still trying to get used to having it over here. For those of you who've been watching my channel, I always have it out here. I'm just trying this to see if I can still play fast. Okay, so now we're going to go to combat. And I'm going to hit him for 3 instead of 2. So that brainstorm did serve the purpose of fattening up my Goyf. If they get to 2, I don't think they play... Yeah, they don't seem to play a Murktide. So there's no real reason to hit their yard other than to prevent Uro. You don't have to prevent Murktide, for example. Okay, here's that land we knew about. Right. All right, we got it finally. Okay, so I'm going to start by attacking here. Actually, I should have cast the second Nethergoyf because if they forced, I want this in my graveyard so I can do more damage. So I may have given them an extra turn by doing what I did there. Let's get their swamp. And I mean, I can cast Nethergoyf and still have Daze Protection. I think this is fine. I'll play Frog out later. Yeah, they weren't going to counter it anyway, so it didn't matter. But that was still a little bit of a hemorrhage of potential, you know, win probability. All right, and there's the Wasteland that doesn't do anything other than protect them from Daze. Trying to think if there's anything that they could have here that could do anything. No, they just got waste locked. But that was kind of by design. We were feeding them basic non-basics with the hope that they would just run out of lands, and they did. Okay, so in this matchup, I'm definitely bringing in my Bowmasters. I think Long Goodbye. I assume they're on 4 Psychic Frog. Yeah. I think with all these cards, this is like a matchup with Long Goodbye matters a lot. So I'll take out my forces, and I'll bring in Long Goodbye. Brazen Borrower is not terrible. I mean, Harbinger does hit all their... Yeah, I think Harbinger is actually good here. Because it basically screws them off of green and potentially black. They don't have a basic swamp in their deck, at least not in this list. And if we screw them off black, like that's probably GG. They've got 2 Shielder's Edict. Loam. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a lot lower. I mean, especially on the draw. I'm almost like willing to take out all my permission. If that may seem reckless, but we just boarded in a ton of really good cards against them. Toxic Deluge I don't think is as useful. Brazen Borrower's not bad. All these cards are very mana intensive though. I think we could take out a Stifle and we could put in a Borrower. Is that too aggressive? We're going to be tapping out a lot. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I kind of like leaving the Stifle. No, I should leave it a Daze. A single Daze. I think it's better than a single Stifle. Yeah, let's do that. We didn't get a chance to Stifle. It's okay. Are they playing Stifle themselves? They don't seem to be. This is very similar to the list that I was playing when I was in Tokyo. All right, this is a winner. I like the Harbinger of the Seas. I like the fact that we have removal, tons of lands. Let's keep this. All right, Trop. Spell Bomb. Does not affect us really. Can kind of temporarily weaken a Nethergoyf. Okay, I think we just open... We could open Waste. That does restrict their options a little bit. It also kind of forces them to try to... It might inspire them to fetch their basic, which we want, because we want to color screw them. That's our whole goal, is to color screw them and then drop the hammer that is Harbinger of the Seas. All right, they're fetching... They're probably going to get Basic Island here. No, they're Intrepid. Unshaken. All right. I think here we just go Island Ponder. Yeah, I think that's good because we want to find threats. And I don't want to get wasted. I can get wasted after my first land is down, but I definitely don't want my first land to get wasted because I want to be able to cast things like, you know, Psychic Frogs and stuff. This is great. I'm going to put Daze on top and I'll draw these cantrips afterward. We're gonna get to draw through all these, which is totally fine because we do want to draw these cards. All right. And this is literally our only counterspell in our entire deck, so we need to make it count. If Psychic Frog gets put on the stack, I probably do daze. No, I'm not gonna daze it. Carpet is pretty good. In fact, there's nothing in my deck that can do anything about that. So I think we're just gonna play with not very many mana out this game. Yeah, Carpet does invalidate a Harbinger too. It's a good card. And not a card that I have any sideboard cards they can remove. Okay, Loam. Okay, so I'm already feeling like this one is slipping away here. They've got all the mana. We just have to beat them with sheer card quality. If they daze, I can daze back. I think getting a Psychic Frog out and going is the most powerful thing we can do right now. And I would not be surprised at all if this dies here. They've got tons of mana, potentially 5 mana. Yep, nothing I can do about that. We had to try. Carpet is a very strong card against our deck in these control decks. Because I'm used to playing like against Jeskai, because that's what everybody else is playing right now. Yeah, that's fine. They're going to be able to put a land in. I'm trying to think of how we can get out of this, because they're going to be bringing back Uro soon. Oh wait, we have a Nile Spellbomb. We'll just Nile Spellbomb the Uro. That'll be what we do next turn. They do have 3 Uros, but by Nile Spellbombing, we reduce the likelihood of them just suddenly being able to get to Uro density of cards in graveyard. Mystic Sanctuary to put Edict back on top, putting us on notice that our next creature is not safe. At this point, oh, Tamiyo. I think I actually dazed Tamiyo just because, I mean, what opportunities am I going to have to daze stuff at this point? I think they were over aggressive there playing into daze when they have so much mana. They could have just held her. So now we have to figure out a way to punish our opponent's greed. All right, so what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to play this out, see if they have anything to say about it, and then I'm going to get rid of the Uro and draw a card. Or I have a hotkey bound to, yes, I'll just be clicking that. Sorry for all the banter. Yeah. And if they wipe our graveyard, if they get antsy and like, oh, I'm out of ammo, I need to like, because the thing about Carpet is this does put you down a card when you're playing it. I mean, it is a card from your hand. If we can keep their engines lean enough, they could have all the mana in the world and not have anything to do with it. But we do need to kill them quickly with this carpet out because they have inevitability. Eventually, they will be bringing Uro back and smashing us. We did also get rid of the Life from Loam, I think, when we got rid of that. So that is one other thing we won't have to worry about this game. They only play one Life from the Loam. I don't like it personally. I like Witherbloom Command better, but Life from the Loam is probably actually a better card right now. Witherbloom has lost a lot of stock lately. It's really only good in this particular matchup, like in the mirror. Leovold is a pain in the butt. I can't even kill Leovold currently. Leovold does prevent me from drawing a card, but I can draw a card next turn. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to crack this, target them, so I can see what their top card is. Oh no, I didn't think about that. I should have targeted myself. Yeah, that was bad. All right, I'll just hit this. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're going to get to draw a card, but I want to do this before they get their card just in case they draw a Force of Will or something. I should have probably played on another land in case the last two cards in the hand are Daze. They do get one card. Okay, they get another. That was just a totally dumb play. Yeah, I didn't think about Leovold whenever your target. I thought it was just creatures. Okay, so they got an Uro on top, which pretty much spells doom unless I can find another now Spellbomb. I'm going to go ahead and ponder first and see what I find. I think a Tamiyo is good. They don't immediately have anything going on. They may not have immediate removal. I am playing in a daze by playing out Tamiyo, which is the same thing I criticized my opponent for last turn. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and play in the daze. Because this game's basically over. I've already given them 2 extra cards with Leovold. Okay, Tamiyo resolved. I can't protect her. Maybe just not being able to protect her alone was reason. Oh, yeah, and they have the Shielder's Edict. So I think likely they're just going to Shielder's Edict here. I do get a card. They have Bowmasters. I'm going to concede. This is not going anywhere. Like, our hand is pretty low. Like, I can push the Bowmasters and draw cards and stuff, but they're so far ahead. Okay, so now, knowing that they're going to bring in Carpet, how does that change our gameplay? First of all, I'm glad that we're only playing 3 Wastelands instead of 4. I do think that Stifle could come back in. We could play a more tempo thing, but it's going to be hard with Carpet. I do think Dazes come in on the play, though. There were like the one Daze we cast was pretty good, and we'll probably have other opportunities to do things like that. Borrower is a little bit better because it can bounce a Carpet back to hand if we need to during. But then the question becomes what to cut. I think we can cut a Bloodchief's Thirst. It's pretty limited. I mean, it can kill Tamiyo, but it can't interact with Uro like our other removal spells can. We already have Longa buy-in. I think Strix is good here. I think Toxic Deluge is bad here, so I'm not going to bring that in. Orcish Bowmasters is really good here, so that's staying in. I think we take out the Harbingers. I mean, Harbinger is really good. If they hadn't had the green source, Harbinger would have locked them out of the game because I don't know that they play Dismember. Yeah, they don't seem to have any Dismember. So basically, like the moment a Harbinger resolves, the game is potentially over. Emperor of Bones is pretty weak. I don't think targeting a... well, I mean, maybe it's not because getting Uro into play would be really good. Yeah, my opponent says, I really like your BUG Tamiyo list. It's been great so far. Thanks. I'm glad you're digging it. Okay, so I have 57 seconds to decide what to cut. I mean, my opponent's going to be playing around Daze. Maybe I don't play Daze. It seems weird to play not play Daze on the play, though. Daze is such a good card. Okay, let's just make a more thoughtful... Okay, so I think we could maybe trim a Psychic Frog. They have lots of removal. Orcish Bowmaster is better than Psychic Frog. They don't have Red Blast, though. I think I'll take the Borrower out. Okay, I'm just going to... Wait, if I have this out and I Borrower the Carpet back, it's good. I could take out... Let's see. I'll take out a Fatal Push. All right, let's do it. You may be thinking that is like a weak play because they have lots of creatures to target with Fatal Push, but Long Goodbye is functionally similar, slightly better in this particular matchup. Hopefully my submission was received. Okay, good. All right, we've got 14 minutes, which should be plenty. This hand slaps. Okay, this is a turn 1 Nethergoyf into, potential Wasteland, into potential Bowmaster shenanigans. I think I'll probably play out Baleful Strix turn 2, because if it gets dazed, it buffs my my Nethergoyf quite a bit. And if it doesn't, I'll draw a card. And it'll get under Bowmasters, and then they're going to probably Bowmasters it. I do need to be sure to fetch next turn just to give Nethergoyf some power and toughness. Okay, that's fine. That does nothing right now. I could actually just not play a blue source. I have a Wasteland. But if I don't play a blue source, no, I'm going to play a blue source. They will get one mana out of this. I'm going to go get an island. And this may be the only blue source I play for the entire game. We'll see how things shake out. Again, if they daze this, I will let them because I want Nethergoyf to grow. Right? Spellbomb is a great pickup against them. I'll just hit them for 1, I'll pass. This Bowmasters is what I'm really excited about. I think this card is going to be really good. My opponent is asking whether I will attend Eternal Weekend. I will be at the North American Eternal Weekend. So if you're going to be there, find me and let's get a photo together. I'll be the dude with the beard. I'm sure that's very helpful. Okay. All right, so they've added black. Bowmasters could be in our future here. Psychic Frog, can't do anything about that right now. But they're not going to be able to attack into my... I mean, they can attack into my Baleful Strix, but generally inadvisable. So I'll play out the Wasteland just as a, like for daze protection. So this Harbinger doesn't do anything unless we can find... I can't really attack into Nethergoyf. I think I just need to hold and wait until I draw removal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this Wasteland. And there's no benefit to playing out Nile Spellbomb right now. I got a lot of cards that I can't use. I'm not going to attack with Nethergoyf because they could just discard a bunch of cards and make it really big. They wouldn't need to discard that many cards. Yeah, I'm just going to chill. So this is why I made sure we had lots of time on the clock, because the games can settle into these kinds of situations. They're favored the longer the game goes. I'm hoping we can, potentially Bowmasters to get some value. If we can get a giant army, that can potentially beat our opponent's frog. Okay, they're surveilling. And see, this is why I like, so I just sat there for like a minute without realizing this had changed. That's one of the reasons I have it over here often, is because I want to be able to see when it changes, just so I don't lose a lot of time to just sitting there like, okay, what's going on? And I don't want to have to constantly tilt my head over to look at this when I'm already looking right here all the time. One advantage of looking over here, though, is that you do get to see like the cards in hand, the cards in deck, like all this meta information. You're more frequently looking over here. Witherbloom command. Yeah, I'd rather it hit Strix than and I think they're gonna probably mill themselves. Yeah, and they get a land back. So this is pretty good for them. Definitely not gonna be casting Wasteland this game. I'll daze literally anything that I get the chance to daze at this point. Okay, they're giving it flying. That's fine. I am going to go ahead and Bowmasters here before the draw trigger. So this will be an invitation to Fatal Push. And if they do so, they are going to be getting dazed. All right, they get the draw trigger, but it does come at a price. I'll buy it at a high price. Comment if you know what that line comes from. Okay, Wasteland. They're going to waste my Wasteland probably just to further constrict my mana. Fatal Push. Oh no, they had the land to Fatal Push around days. Well, yep, they got it. I did get a couple power out of it, and it was like kind of a 2-for-1. It's fine. Yeah, very good sequencing on my opponent's part. They're playing very well. I don't think that I've seen them make a single mistake. Even game 1, I don't think they necessarily made any mistakes. I'm going to Thoughtseize here to get a sorcery in my graveyard and to potentially take their best card. And then I can probably play out the Nile Spellbomb. Okay, well, I think Psychic Frog is the card we get here. We just don't want to deal with a second one of those. That would be a nightmare. Shielders Edict is bad, but Psychic Frog is worse. And to look at their hand, they had a Wasteland. They didn't, so I can go ahead and play out this Nile Spellbomb. I can't use it immediately. I could, but it wouldn't be good to use it immediately. We don't need it to buff our squad. Gonna attack like this. Because they're down to one card, essentially, it may make sense to go ahead and play out my land and just reserve the ability to Nile Spellbomb them. Yeah, so I'm not going to crack it because I don't want to give them mana, but I think it's quite likely that they're going to kill my creature this turn, and I'm going to really be living off the top of my deck. So I think what'll probably happen is end step, if they if all they've done is kill my creature, I probably will fetch and activate Nile Spellbomb just to get a card deeper, because the onus is on me to kill them. Nethergoyf can come back next turn if I need him to. But let's see, it would be maybe a 1/2, which would be very sad. Sad Nethergoyf. They've added one black to their mana pool. Here's hoping they go for like a Leovold or something, because I can daze that. That may be why they're thinking is like, okay, do they likely have a daze? And the answer is, when your opponents have daze in their deck, they're almost always going to have dazes in on their first main phase, or whenever they're on the play, game 3. Shielders Edict, nothing I can do about that. They are extremely favored at this point. All right. So they have, are they discarding cards? No, they're just drawing a card. Yeah, they're playing nice and conservatively. Again, like, I don't have any feedback on their play, because this is how I would play it. I am going to go ahead and get a land here. Worst case scenario, I can cast Harbinger of the Sea, which won't do a damn thing. Actually, it'll make the... Well, no, it won't make things any worse. Let's put it that way. Because this was... like, my swamp won't become an island. All right, Long Goodbye is precisely the card we needed. This is great. This is where I need to say my Trinity. Dodge this. They could have a Bowmasters. Actually, if they have Bowmasters, I'm probably going to brainstorm, or I'm going to Long Goodbye their Bowmasters. Actually, if they have Bowmasters, I'm just going to daze it. Oh, man, these cards. Okay, so I think we keep the Bauble. We put away the Harbinger. I don't think it plays this game. It's just not going to be good against their current mana base. Oh, it sucks to have to fetch Delta. But basically, or I'll probably fetch the Undercity Sewers. But basically my thinking is, at this point, I am going to go ahead and play this out. And I'm going to activate it. Kind of have to. They're getting an Underground Sea, which is good because I want them to draw dead cards. So what I'll do is I'll just wait and... Oh, I need to fetch. I'm going to go ahead and have to fetch now because I know the top card of my deck sucks. Okay, I'm just going to fetch now. And I don't need to worry about... Long Goodbye can't be countered. I think this stays. I can cast it next turn, and then I can also Nethergoyf, potentially. Oh, I forgot to attack. I'm such a dummy. Okay. Yeah, I should have attacked there. There's no reason not to attack. Oh, wait. Actually, I can force them to discard a card to Psychic Frog when they attack. And then I can block. And so I'll get like a free card off Long Goodbye. So it would have been better for me to attack there, but at least I will get an extra card off it. Because I don't think they're going to pitch a bunch of cards to give flight to their Psychic Frog. All right, and they are definitely discarding a card here. They're probably just trying to decide what to do. I'm just going to go ahead and Long Goodbye now. I don't believe there's anything they can do about this. Okay. All right, they can add a ton of mana. If they found Uro, that's a nightmare. They added a bunch of blue. Lorien Revealed would also be a nightmare, which is a card that they play. All right, surveil. They surveilled a second carpet to their graveyard. I'm going to start with Ponder. Well, Ponder could... Well, I can double daze, and I will double daze if they Bowmaster here. I don't like... I don't like the Scalding Tarn. Ponder... Actually, I think I have everything I need. So I'm going to take this. All right, and maybe they took out dazes on the play so I can bring my Goyf back. I'm sorry, maybe they took out dazes on the draw. Okay, so I'm going to exile sorcery, artifact, land, creature. So this should come back and still be pretty powerful. Wow, it's a 5/6. That's ridiculously good. Okay, great. And next turn, if they kill it, I can potentially do the same, and it'll come back as like a 2/3 or something. It won't be nearly as big. They're going to need to find a good card like if they find Uro, I mean, that's just like game probably. Good game. Wow, we won. Okay. They couldn't deal with the 7 power on the table. Yeah. Great games, Yunyok. Great games. Hope to see you at EW. Yeah. So they're playing my deck. I mean, that's what they said, that they're like, my deck is slightly different, I think. They've tuned it a little bit. I mean, they were crediting me with it, but I don't know that what they're actually playing is exactly what I was playing. But it's very similar. And I'm not the person who came up with this archetype. I think there's a guy named Squidward and Mr. UC and some other people, and I merely like saw it and thought it was really good. Like I would definitely play 4 Fatal Pushes here. I think I was playing 4 when I was in Tokyo. I played like 32 rounds in like 4 days, 5 days, like a lot of in-person paper Magic. Let's see, 4 days. I don't think 4 days is correct. I think 3 days is correct. I don't think Loam is correct, but it might actually be correct. I don't think Witherbloom. I think Witherbloom Command is a sideboard card now, unfortunately, even though it's like my favorite card of all time, practically. I've probably said a lot of cards are my favorite card of all time. I think 2 Carpet is enough. I think 3 Consign to Memory is totally justified, but 2 is fine. Hydroblast stock has gone down a little bit because it's really only good against Painter. Now Spellbomb could, be main decked right now. Ground Seal is insane. It's definitely one of the good reasons to play green. Everything else looks good. Leovold is very strong. It's hard to get Leovold to stick with all the Fatal Pushes and Dazes and everything. Pernicious Steed is still good. Sorry, that's my little micro deck critique that I don't think Yunyok actually asked for me for. I'll see you in round 2. All right, we're in round 2 against Mazu93. This is a player that plays a variety of decks, including Cephalid Breakfast, Delver. I don't have any expectation of what they might be playing, but they're probably going to be playing a Brainstorm deck. So I will probably be bringing in Bowmasters, especially if it's Breakfast. Bowmasters is particularly good against Breakfast because it can hit their combo pieces. They have not joined the game yet, though, so I'll be back when they do. All right. This is a great hand. It's a 1-lander. If they're on Delver, we're pretty screwed. If they're on Breakfast, we're keeping this, or any sort of naughty deck. I'm going to keep this. Well, no, we'll see whether we just completely get destroyed by Wasteland. Okay. Looks like they may be on Jeskai, which is another deck that they have played in the past. Uh-oh. Yep, that's a cool technique. So you can surveil the Narcomoeba, and then you can just put it into play. All right, so our hand is pretty good against Breakfast. Have a lot of things we can do here. I would love to get a second land, but I will definitely take another Goyf. We don't have to worry about dying turn 1. We could just stick this now Spellbomb, but that does warp the game quite a bit. I think I'm going to play another Goyf with the intention of dazing whatever they do this turn just to get a blue card, just to get a daze into the graveyard. And since we don't have a guaranteed land drop next turn, Ponder's fine. I know sometimes people are tempted to daze when they don't have anything, like when they know their opponent will tap just to deny the mana. I don't think that that's a good use of daze. Shuko, the worst equipment ever printed. But you get to play it in a deck with alongside the best equipment ever printed, Cauldron Complete. So we have a 1/2 now. We can attack in. We didn't get a fetch. I think it's more important that we deploy our second Nethergoyf so we can get a bigger attack next turn. Let's think about what possible lines they could have. They could just untap and stick both. I think we have a lot of things covered. I'm not going to brainstorm. I want to hold my brainstorm as a blue card. The sooner I play out now Spellbomb, the sooner I'm insulated, but I think it's worth being aggressive in this matchup. I should have played the Nethergoyf again. I made the same mistake in round 1. You always play the Nethergoyf before you attack. That way if they counter it for some reason, which I don't think their deck is going to care about this, but if they do, then you have a slightly more buff Nethergoyf. I will definitely daze a Teferi and then I'll force back. Teferi is like a must-kill card here. Brainstorm's fine. They are going to get a perfect Brainstorm here. They have a fetch. All right. They're fetching away the bad cards. They're playing very quickly and efficiently. Very decisively. This is fine. And I have a Fatal Push for it. I think I do daze this because I have a Fatal Push for Nomad. They are running out of cards in hand. Okay, great. We got a land. I think I'm going to go ahead and use the land. I'll give away the fact that I have the land because I want to buff my Tarmogoyfs and just keep attacking for more damage. I'm going to be charitable and assume that they're playing Nadu because they're playing black. It is important to get this out of play when you're playing against Nadu. All right, and we'll just attack. Next turn, we have Spellbomb. We have Force Up, which I don't want to force, but like I think if they had dazed, they probably would have dazed back one of my dazes by now. Because I've been... Oh, no. Yep, Nadu is going to be a problem. Oh, Merfolk. Oh, no. Well, this is interesting. So, them playing it on Merfolk, that means, are they planning to do this the old-fashioned way? I'm going to counter the Cephalid Illusionist if that's what they're going to play. They could just be confusing me. Yeah. Now they know I have a counter. I was really confused by Merfolk. Are they going to play it out? That's like a desperation play if they're going to actually cast Stas's Oracle right now. Maybe they're realizing the... Yeah, well, this is a force here. But now I know you have a Merfolk in your hand. And this is where, like, had I had a land earlier and I could have deployed the Spellbomb, I wouldn't need to worry about this, but I do need to worry about it. All right. So I think what I'm going to do, I have nothing going on. I'm not even going to pretend I have anything going on. I'll just play with this Spellbomb. And I'm going to go ahead and, this is what I'm talking about, not even pretend I have anything going on. I'm going to get an Undercity Sewers with the hope of surveilling something that is a different type to my graveyard. That buffs these. And now I can attack for more damage. It's not quite a 2-turn clock. I'm not willing to let go of the Nile Spellbomb to do extra damage, but next turn I can, if they're not blocking, I can activate Spellbomb with lethal. Okay, there's Nadu. Yep, there's nothing we could have done about that. I don't think. You could argue that, oh, if you just, yeah. I'm just going to F6. I'm not going to pretend that I have anything going on here. I don't mind losing to Nadu Breakfast because it's a breakfast deck, you know. Breakfast has always been like a very click intensive kind of higher risk, higher reward. What I don't like is losing to a mid-range deck that doesn't even have to pretend to be a combo deck and can still be like a perfectly legitimate mid-range deck that also has the Nadu combo in it. That's like frustrating for me. I guess I don't really mind losing to the dedicated ones either. I just don't like the Bant Nadu deck. Yep. Okay, so what I'm going to do here... Okay, they're going to keep going. That's fine. Okay, yeah. You don't have to keep passing me priority and pretending that I'm going to be able to do something here. Okay. They may have Plow's main deck. Just to give you perspective, they I think have drawn like 16 cards or something if you include the lands. At least that's how many they're going to have drawn by the time I get an attack in. There's an Archamoeba. Oh wait, that's not a Narcomoeba trigger. It's just Narcomoeba using the Nadu ability. Okay. Let's take a look at their hand. I don't see Plow. I see Teferi, which is annoying. Dread Return. We drew a dead card. I think I am going to go ahead and play this out before I attack. And then I'll just attack and see how they block. They're waiting. Maybe they're like, wait, did I use all possible Nadu triggers? Or do I have any more? All right, we'll just attack in like this. We'll see how they block. Then I can crack the Spell Bomb, which is not really useful for anything. Okay, they did reveal another Nadu. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch here. Doesn't really matter. I guess I could have waited. And I am going to activate the Spell Bomb and draw a card. Okay. They didn't reveal a Plow, so they're not playing Plow. They're more dedicated breakfast strategy, I guess. Okay, so we killed that. They have so many cards to reload. It really doesn't matter. I'm trying to think of what I could find here that could help me. Bloodchief's Thirst. Probably just like Fatal Push, but we don't actually have... Yeah. I mean, this is technically an answer to Nadu. I'm just going to shuffle it. We need something better. We got a Fatal Push anyway. Let's see. If I push one of these, does it matter? I don't think so. They have the actual thing in their hands, so they just need to draw to it. Yeah. I will just hold the Fatal Push. They have Force of Will anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to F6 through the turn and let them use up clock. Get the clock more even. Okay, so they're going to see the Fatal Push, and then I am going to fire the Fatal Push at one of their creatures if they attempt to flash it back, but I don't think they will. Yeah, this is totally meaningless. They are going to be able to discard their deck, and they have uncounterable. We'll see the rest of their deck, though. We'll make them go through it. Okay, so here are the cards that they have that are of interest to me. Teferi. They're playing the Cabal Therapy. They're basically playing the exact list that I've played on this channel before. You can go find me going through it. Okay, oh, those are the reveal cards. Let me look at their graveyard now. Okay, so I don't see any removal. I think I see 2 Shukos. Let's see how many Shukos they have in hand. They should just be able to cast the thing and win. There's a Narcomoeba. Flashing back Cabal Therapy. Doesn't matter. They've already seen everything in my hand. Oh, they're flashing back Cabal Therapy to target themselves. That's fine. Yeah, so they did reveal their hand, which is 2 Shukos. So they have a total of 4 Shukos. They're on the Turbo Shuko build. They're like a dedicated breakfast deck. Okay, so sideboard. Bowmasters, snap, keep. Long goodbye. Better than Fatal Push. Harbinger, they may not bring in Carpet. They might. I don't hate it. If they are... I wish I'd looked at their mana base. I didn't even think to look at their mana base. Let's grab... Oh, Toxic Deluge may be good. The problem with Toxic Deluge is it presumes that you're going to get a turn where you can, like, actually wipe their board. Like, they did pass priority to me, and I could have potentially cast Toxic Deluge, but by then they already had forces in their hand. Emperor of Bones doesn't do anything here. They don't have any creatures we want to put into play. Removing cards from their graveyard I don't think is going to work because they have heads up. Like, they're not going to put... Yeah, there probably will never be an opportunity for me to snag their soul. And the important thing to note is their deck, unlike traditional breakfast, can very easily win through combat because they can just put a ton of creatures on the battlefield and go really wide. Stifle can stop the trigger, and it's kind of a surprise card, and they're playing a lot of fetches. We are on the play here. I think Strix is the weakest card. We can definitely cut that. That doesn't do anything. They're not going to be attacking for damage generally. I do want to keep the Forces and the Dazes. Thoughtseize is not terrible against their deck. Yeah, I think they're an AB combo. Thoughtseize has to be good here. Bloodchief's Thirst is definitely weaker here. Then so we can like long goodbye substitute, and these will all hit the X ones in their deck that make their deck tick. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do. I think we don't bring in Harbinger is my intuition here, and we just try to fight on different axes. I don't really want to cut a force. I'm going to do the rare submit with 61 cards just because I don't know what to cut. I'm sorry, that's cowardly, but like I don't want to find myself in a situation where my sideboard choices don't go through. Okay. This is a great hand. I'm going to keep this, and I think I just open with Undercity Sewers probably, just to get it out of my hand. They're not going to be doing anything to our mana base. And I do need to have my second land online for Bowmasters. Okay, so I'm going to throw the Undercity Sewers out there, and I would love to bin some exotic card type. I'll put that in there. I don't think we have time for that. That's like a turn 1 play. Turn 2, Psychic Frog coming online would be good. They made days. Okay, so they're doing some card selection. Turn 3 is when things get really scary because that's when Teferi can hit. That's when Nadu can hit. That's when they can potentially drop both parts of the combo, both the Cephalid Wizard or the Octopus Wizard. They recently errated the card to be Octopus instead of type Cephalid. All right, I think we just keep our fetch up, and I'm just going to blue, black, get froggy with it. They may have plow in. Okay, that's fine. I've still got lots of action. The Bowmasters is more important. And that is a creature for my graveyard for when I eventually draw my Nethergoyfs, which are the main way I've been winning these days. That's fine. That's a great Bowmaster target. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. And so we're days protected. They're forcing. That is unfortunate because that was the card that I really wanted to resolve. I'll just hit their lane now, and I'll pass. So they are halfway to the combo, but we are going to be able to put out now Spell Bomb. Okay, hopefully they don't fetch now, and they walk right into my days. And yes, I will use my days offensively. Okay, great. Play this out. I am going to play out the Spell Bomb, and I'll pass. So now they know that type of gameplay is not going to work, that they're not going to be able to... Okay, so this will get stifled. Now they'll be thinking about stifle for the rest of the game, probably. My opponent's thinking for a long time about their land drop. All right, they do have a land drop. They are not cracking. They are attacking, which is the correct thing to do here. All right, so I'm eager to brainstorm and put this Marsh Flats away. I kind of want to just hit this. Yeah, I think we just hit it and get it off the table. Okay, they're fetching. Hopefully they don't have like a spell snare or something like that. They may be brainstorming in response, which is totally chill. Okay, they're not. All right, we got a 2-for-1. Oh, a Veil. Well, I do have dazes in my deck, and it would be worth hitting a daze, so I am going to do an imperfect brainstorm here. Actually, I can always go fetch afterward. But I am potentially walking into a daze of my own. I'll get an island just in case. I don't think they play... Oh, actually, island doesn't help at all here. I shouldn't have got an island. That was bad. Let's see if we can find a daze. We cannot. Wow. Wow. Okay, so these are all good cards, though. I'm not going to put any back. I'm going to put these two back because I can draw them. And then I am going to play the land. No, I'm not going to play the land. Yeah, they get a card. I'm going to ping myself here when they draw. So I do get an army. Their creature survives. And now I'll play out the Bobble. And I'm going to go ahead and just look at their top card. And okay. It's important to note that we do have now Spell Bomb out. This could cause some inconvenience to them, but we didn't get our 2-for-1. In fact, they got a 2-for-1 that recouped the force that they'd cast earlier. Well, not really. It was really kind of a 1-for-1 because they kept their card around. That sucks. Soul God Lantern doesn't really matter. I mean, it will matter later if they want to exile our graveyard in response to another Nethergoyf, but that would be card negative. Okay, so I think I'm going to attack and offer the trade. I don't think there's any reason not to attack. We need to get their life down. That's fine. I'm glad they're not going after my graveyard. The way they did that implies to me that they probably have a plow, because I don't think they would do that without a plow on hand. I'm going to hold my Fatal Push, see what they do post-combat. Yeah, I know if I draw another Bowmasters, I can just Bowmaster it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to find a Bowmasters. Okay, at this point, I have a lot of land I want to shuffle back. I don't have anything else going on. I'm just going to attack. We're pretty turtled up, though, in terms of cards we can cast. We've already used our Surveil land. I don't really feel that it's ever worth playing out another land. Well, okay, I'm going to play this out just because if we draw a Brainstorm, we can shuffle away this one. And I don't want to get in a situation where they daze my Fatal Push, and then I have to also long goodbye something else. Okay, so first, push. Okay, Nadu can resolve. As much as I dislike this, I am going to long goodbye to kill Nadu. They get a card. I just can't leave Nadu on the table. They found a force. They have 3 cards, 0 parts of their AB combo on the table. They could have them in hand. Please don't be on land. Ah. All right, we're just going to chill here until we can find a Brainstorm. We have 3 Brainstorms left in our deck, and that will completely change. Brainstorm will be Ancestral Recall at this point, if we can find it. Ponder's fine. Yeah, they're finding their cantrips. I've only seen 1 of my 8 cantrips this game. They're also brainstorming, so they've seen 2 Ponders and a Brainstorm. One heuristic for like figuring out who's likely to win a given match, and they have further selection. They're going to be able to bin something. Cabal Therapy. Okay, there's a Nomads, which I can't interact with. One heuristic for evaluating these blue mirrors is whoever draws the most cantrips, has the most cantrips in their graveyard, they're probably the ones that are winning so far. Yeah. I am going to attack. I mean, they are lower in life, so I am winning the race. But yeah, I'm almost certainly going to have to Fatal Push their combo. And we know they have, or they at least at one point had a force. So what I'll probably do is like, this is like an emergency draw. I don't want to use this because it stops them from just untap, I win. I wouldn't mind if they like flashback therapy and I could just push something and then their therapy would be, would not do anything. That wouldn't be the worst. Okay, they are attacking. They know that if I had a Bowmasters, I would have proactively played it out. So they're playing pretty good. They say they're playing badly. I'm really tired, so I'm not playing a good Magic. But they seem to be, you know, wiping the floor with me so far. Okay, Force is not bad. Force is reason for me to play out a land. And I think playing out a land will probably communicate that to them. I'm going to do it, though. Because if I can force a Nadu on the stack, that's pretty good. And that does give me a reason to potentially Fatal Push Instep, just to clear this. They were tapping like they were about to slam a Cephalid Wizard. Okay, here's the Nadu. So what this does is this makes me think that they do have the Cephalid Wizard, but it's a higher priority to kill this. Huh. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to push here. And this might bait the force. Okay, that is the force. Okay, so what we can do is we can try to find a black card. And I think it's worth doing here. We're going out of... Well, now, did they pitch the Cephalid Wizard? They pitched a Teferi. So they still probably have the Cephalid Wizard in hand. So we're kind of dead either way, but I think it's an unnecessary risk to let this Nadu resolve, because Nadu functionally ends the game in a way that them having Cephalid does as well. So I'm going to draw here. I did get a blue card. I am going to force the Nadu himself, I think, and leave them with the Nomad. Actually, this is bad because now if they do have the other card, they can just untap and play it. But they don't have it. Okay, they've got one card in hand. And I'm like completely naked. I had to throw away my... I had a Ponder on top, which would have been amazing. Hopefully I draw a Brainstorm. That's the best draw in my deck. Daze is not a good draw at all. All right, well, we're going to attack and we're probably dead. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I clearly articulated my thinking there, but basically If they were to hypothetically have Cephalid Illusionist, they could have just untapped and played it and won. If they're stuck with the Nadu and nothing else in play, though, they don't necessarily win. They just are going to be beating me for 3 each turn until they do find a Nomad Zincor or a Shuko. But they had the mana to just untap and jam there if they'd had it. That's why I was checking what they pitched, because I wanted to make sure that they hadn't pitched the Cephalid Illusionist. If I had let the Fatal Push resolve and them have Nadu on the table, it's a guaranteed draw whenever I do draw removal to kill Nadu, and I will sooner or later have to kill Nadu. Like, I'm not going to win a game where Nadu's on the table. It's worth noting that I haven't seen really any good cards. I've been incredibly flooded this game. Okay, there's Redundant Nomad. That means that the next time they find a Nadu or a Cephalid Illusionist, the game is over, because I can't interact with both of these. Okay, that card sucks, but I am going to play it out. It's better than nothing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining, but it is not going to get us where we need to go. And now, just with their Nomad Zincors, I'm losing the race. I would love for them to trade. I don't think they will, because they're smart enough to realize the amount of redundancy they have on the table is worth the risk of me attacking them 8 more times. Okay. Yep, they're coming in. At this point, Daisy's not going to stop a single card in their deck other than maybe like a hard. No, it's not even going to stop a hard cast force anymore. I am keeping this, though. I'm not going to crack it. It's not worth just one extra look. Okay, Tamiyo is not the worst, but she is pretty weak. I'll play her out now. Wouldn't be surprised if she gets plowed. My opponent has drawn a lot of lands too. Importantly, they have a Plains out, which means that the Harbinger of the Seas would not have been good here. So I'm not winning. Oh, actually, I am kind of technically winning the race now, assuming like we just stopped drawing cards and the game like basically just proceeded without us drawing cards, because I can block one of theirs. Okay, they're fetching to 6. Do they have a second surveil? Probably the blue-white. Yeah. Okay, and they banned a Shuko. Yeah, they don't need that redundant B. So that was a very efficient use of one of those. And these make decks like Cephalid Breakfast so much better. Yeah, nothing I can do here. I'm glad they're doing that to a Tamiyo instead of a Bowmaster. I'm really excited about Bowmaster. If I can find one of my many Bowmasters, one of my many frogs. I've got so many good cards in my deck. A Brainstorm would be insane. My Kingdom for a Brainstorm. Oh no. This isn't worth playing out. Yeah, it's just not worth playing out, in my opinion. I could get a second Brainstorm later. I don't think it's worth holding this back. Actually, I am, because it deters them from attacking with both of them. Like, we're getting to the sad part of the game. And I still have to win a game, even if I win this. I think I am. It's maybe a 50-50 matchup. I don't know. They're going to be able to draw a card here. They're almost certainly going to do that rather than go after my graveyard. Okay, is this the Nadu? No, they're just drawing. I'm wondering what they have in their hand. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a plow in their hand. Okay, well, I am going to block one of these. That is a gift. Now, I just need a single removal spell, and I can take them off their AB plan. That's a good card. I'm going to ponder. There's a saying that if you don't like at least 2 of the 3 cards, don't keep it. We are up to hardcast force land. I can get rid of their A. I think we shuffle, and we'll probably just find a land, but I think it's better than drawing through another wasteland. Okay, we got the Fatal Push anyway. I'm going to go ahead and do it now, just to minimize the likelihood that they have interaction. Okay, and now they need 2 cards to win. They could have a Shuko that they're just sandbagging. That could be one of the cards in their hand. Or yet another Nomad. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, and I definitely feel like having it over here instead of over here. Like, I've probably given up at least a minute or 2 o'clock just not noticing that it's changed. Okay, Lavinia is fine. That doesn't actually do anything at this point. It's just another creature that I have to fight with. Even a Nethergoyf would be insane here. Okay, that's what we wanted. Go time, baby. Give me 3 good cards. Okay, these are not terrible cards. Right, so I'm putting back these lands. Okay, so I can't force or cast Days. going to go ahead and play this out. And I'll pass. So I can hard cast Daze, which is terrible. I just kept these Daze as blue cards because they're better than lands. All right, Nadu coming down. Can't interact, unfortunately. All right. So they actually do have quite a bit of damage on the table here. I can't attack Tamiyo into Nadu. Fetch. I will get an Underground Sea here. Drawing a Fatal Push would be good. That's not a good draw. I am going to go ahead and blow up their graveyard now, because this is the turn where I need another card. All right. I'm going to go to combat. I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to get a clue here. I'm going to crack the clue immediately. They don't need to bother blocking. It's fine. That is an insane rip. And I think I have to surprise Lavinia in combat. That will turn my forces back on. They are going to get a trigger when I target Lavinia. They're dropping to 5. At this point, like a brainstorm or something like that could end it, but I don't think they're going to be dumb. So I am going to go ahead and play this out now. I think they're both attacking me. I think I need to double block here to kill Lavinia, as sad as that is. And if they have a Fatal Push or something, that sucks, but we've got our forces back. Okay, and we can't attack for 1 here, so I can minus and get, what's it called? Long Goodbye? Do I have that in my graveyard? You get a card. Brainstorm. Well, that's a good card. Brainstorming immediately. That's fine. This has been like an extremely long game, and I seriously doubt I'm going to have time to finish game 3. Don't make me do it again. I will do it again. I should have technically tapped that. Okay. It's gone. Wow. At a very high cost. Let's see what we get. That is something that can end the game next turn, or 2 turns from now. We go ahead and attack, and I'll pass. And we'll see if we're dead. They have 1 card. They need generally 2 cards, but they do know what their top card is, so they could have just like boom, boom. Yep, there's the Nomad. Oh, that's it. Okay, great. All right, I'm going to play out a land so I can both Nethergoyf and force if I need to. This is huge. We'll plus here. We'll attack. They actually technically have 2 turns. Okay, that's fine. I'm not sure why they did that. They have a plow I can force. I think they're just letting me end the game here. I'm going to attack here. Every second that it takes me to end the game is a second I don't have next game. Okay, we won at a high cost. All right. So let's go to, where's the sideboard? Okay, let's go to sideboard. Wow, that was super grindy, but you saw the disciplined like keeping of lands and stuff, stockpiling stuff, keeping the blue cards with the hope of eventually finding a force. We used every single force in that matchup, basically, except for the last force. Okay, so let's talk about winning quickly. Tamiyo is not a win quickly card. I think I pull that out. We could put in more removal. Borrower. I'm not convinced Borrower is good here because Strix is not good, but it is like more aggression. Harbinger does potentially screw them. But they do have white. They have basic planes, but they may not be fetching their planes. It is a 2/2 creature that outclasses every single creature in their deck other than Nadu. And I guess Lavinia. I mean, Emperor of Bones is actually a decent aggro creature. I think what we do is we do this. And then I got a little more removal. And our goal is just to grow the Goyfs. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should bring in. We've got a pretty light blue count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's super light. Actually, I think Strix seems very slow. Yeah, I think on the draw, Thoughtseizes is going to be even worse. I'm trying to think, days might be worse on the draw, especially if we're trying to win quickly. Because they are, playing out lands every turn. Stifle is pretty bad, but it does stop them from winning. Like, let's say hypothetically they go for a quick kill and they don't account for the fact that I have Stifle in my hand. Yeah, and it's a blue card for force. I think I'm going to keep it. Screwing them is definitely one way I can win if we just stop them from being able to get their cards into play by going after the mana. Okay, this hand, this is a keep. No, this is not a keep. I can't get mana screwed here. Okay, this is a keep. I think we put back one of the wastelands. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to do a Harbinger attack. But I am going to need to step toward it. They could have Carpet. I didn't see Carpet last game, and I probably would have seen it if they had it. Okay, basic planes. Good opener. All right. They may just have the turn 2 with protection. Sometimes that happens. I'm just going to play this, and I'll pass. I don't want to push unless they have the win on the stack. Because, yeah, that's fine. Because I have Orcish Bowmasters that can potentially ping it. And if they tap out here, I can even Bowmasters and have days up. I suspect they have a plow here, and they were assuming that I was going to have a lot of early aggression. Yeah. It's interesting they went for the black mana there. That tells me they may have... it tells me they may have Cephalid in hand. So the safe thing to do is wait a turn, and I think I'm going to do that. So I'll wait a turn, and I have double Fatal Push in case they try to combo here. I'll take the damage. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and push instep, I think. I'm just going to fetch my Surveil land. Okay, Nethergoyf is a card we'd like to see. That is going to stay on top just because, actually, there's no reason to keep that on top. It's just additional triggers I have to manage. I'll cast it. Look at their deck. Okay. Play a land. I don't think wasting is the correct play here. I'm going to just pass with Fatal Push and Bowmasters up. And we've got less than 3 minutes. Okay, Brainstorm's a great pickup. All right, if they try to Nadu here, I might be able to bait interaction with Bowmasters. My thinking is ping the Nomad first. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attempt to push the Bowmasters. Push the Nomad. And now I just have to, sadly, probably waste and push Nadu. They are low on cards in hand, though. Yeah, we can't leave Nadu around. Waste their green source, I guess. Fatal Push. They get a card. And they get it before they even, so they can, Veil entered the freaking, okay, good. They don't have green. I was freaking out. I'm going to Brainstorm here. They might daze this. Okay, these are terrible cards. I'm going to put this back. Put this back. I'm going to play my Delta, and I'm going to fetch. I'll fetch during my upkeep. It's fine. They don't have the Cephalid. They've got 3 cards in hand. Let's go get an Underground Sea here. I should have gotten a Swamp there, because then I could have Harbingered, but Harbinger is not really something I want to do anyway. I'm going to Brainstorm. Bowmasters is good. Wasteland is good. I am going to go ahead and restrict their cards a little bit. Black, black. I'm just going to play it out now. So I can F6 through their turn. Well, I can't really F6. And then I'm going to waste them. And we're just going to try to attack them, 8 times. That's fine. I can't do anything about that. We're going to attack them 16 times in 1 minute. That's not going to happen, by the way. I'm just joking around. Yeah, they're ending that, and they know that we're dead to the clock. Ponder. Nethergoyf. Nethergoyf is big and can potentially attack a bunch. They don't have removal. It's 3 attacks. I think I do need to F6 through the turn. If they have removal, that's that. Wait, I'm going to F6 because this might be a Nadu. They have another Nadu. That's fine. I didn't daze there, even though I could have. Yeah, I'm going to concede. I lost. Had I dazed there, I would have had 29 seconds to get 2 more attacks. It's not necessarily a lock, but I could have potentially won that. So I'm going to attribute that loss to me running out of time and having to play recklessly. Yeah, because, I mean, 29 seconds. So just in my experience, you probably need about 20 seconds per turn cycle. So we were already pretty low on time, and I don't think it was a mistake to Nadu there, or to F6 there, but once they started tapping mana, I probably should have been faster to on F6 so that I could daze. You live and you learn, but I would consider that to be good overall performance. Just every second matters. Every second matters. And having this over here where like I didn't always see it, like I would be like, oh wait, oh, I have priority. You know, it's just like slightly. I'm not going to blame the fact that I'm doing like this, but because we don't know what they would have drawn. All right, let's see if we can win round 3. All right, we are on the play in round 3 against Nova T28. That sounds like a calculator. All right, let's take a look and see what they're playing. Okay, most recently, Stifle Knot. Probably the blue-white list. Yep, with Doorkeeper Thralls. These are pretty good against my Bowmasters. Only 3 Dreadnoughts. 3 Null Drifters. 4 Dress Downs. So they're splitting 3 and 3 between their monsters. 1 Borrower. I respect that. And 4 Tamiyo, of course, because Tamiyo is a 4 of in most blue decks. All right. Can this beat Stifle Knot? I actually kind of like the abundance of lands here. Psychic Frog. They do have Plow. Yeah, I like the amount of interaction and the fact that we can fetch basics. So I am going to fetch basics here. They're mulliganing to 6 cards. All right, I am hoping to daze some enablers here. I'm going to go ahead and just proactively get my island. And then later I can go get my Surveil land with the Catacombs. I could have, I guess, baited the interaction with the Catacombs, or with the Surveil land. Ancient Tomb. Okay, so it doesn't look like they're playing that deck after all. This is Chalice of the Void. I think I can just let this resolve. I don't have a way to deal with it. Let me think about this. We have a lot of 1-drops in our deck. I think I'm going to daze this and then I'm going to waste them. Yeah, because I mean, like, we don't have any 1-drops in our hand right now, but like a significant chunk of our deck is 1-drops. Okay, and so they're on Moon Stompy, most likely. So it is going to resolve. I'm going to waste them and hope that they don't have another soul land and that they structure their opener around this Ancient Tomb. They did mulligan. Okay, and if they do have some crazy threat, we will cross that bridge when we get there with the Force of Will. But I feel like having my basics in my hand is a great feeling against a Blood Moon deck. Okay, Mountain. So we don't have to worry about Pyroblast here. I'm going to play out the island they've already seen. And once I have Psychic Frog on the table, I can protect it and I can pitch everything else. I'm going to play the Swamp and I'm not going to cast a single spell for the rest of the game. I'm just going to protect my Frog. Oh, white. Okay. What does that mean? Does that mean they're playing Prismatic Ending? White and red. They could be on Painter. Yeah, they could be Painter. Well, I've never seen Painter Chalice on 1 because like a huge strength of the deck is the abundance of red elemental blasts. But yeah, we're seeing something new today. Chromox. Oh, this could be like Bomberman or something. Cavern. Oh no, this is Bomberman, isn't it? It's Bomberman. I don't want to lose to Bomberman. Not like this. Okay. No, is this initiative? This is initiative. Well, I can't counter this, but I'm about to take the initiative back. All right. You have the initiative. Unfortunately, both of my basics are already in play, so I'm not going to be able to get a basic when I take the initiative here. I'm going to get the first attack. And they are going to get lots of attacks. Okay, I need to think. So this is probably going to be a compressed timeline. This is not going to be, a dragged out game like last game. So let's think about this. They're at 18. We could attack for 7 here and basically give up the Force of Will So we attack. Okay, let's say we keep a Force Daze hand. I think that's the blue card I would hang on to. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this becomes a 5, 6 attacking in the air. So that's 5 damage. They drop to 13. I'm just gonna note that right here, 13, and then they attack back. They get the Forge. That happens after I've already gotten my attack. And they're able to hit for probably 4. They could have another initiative creature that they drop. They have 2 cards in hand. If they have another initiative, they can also trap us. They can take the initiative first, put the counters on it. The type they chose is human, so they could have another Seasoned Dungeoneer or another... if they have, what is the card that it's called? Like touch the Spirit Realm. If they have that, then my frog could lose all of its counters, and that would be embarrassing. I think I'm going to hold the cards, and I'm just going to attack because I've got 5 plus potentially 6 or 7 plus trap is enough. I don't think they have a way to gain life, so they would go to 13. Then I dump the remaining 3 cards in my hand, 4 cards in my hand, and yeah, I think it's lethal in 2 attacks. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and exile some cards. 1, 2, 3. My frog is flying. I'm going to attack. Now I'm going to dump 1, 2, 3. Discard a card. Okay. All right. We're hitting them for 5. They're dropping to 13. We get the initiative, which doesn't matter. There's no point in searching here, but we do want to get a card. We get a card off of the trigger. Yeah. So I have to click over here. Draw a card. It is another blue card, which is great. So now we have potentially Daze and Force of Will to deal with. Solitude is the most likely card that we'll have to stop. Okay. They reveal Fable, which is a very good card. They've been it. They're trying to dig to more initiative creatures, I suspect. Both Cave of Chaos Adventurer and Seasoned Dungeoneer are humans. They went with the Scry path. They bottom both. That's good for us. They have 5 mana for Solitude. I think we let this happen. It is going to give them card selection, but yeah, I would feel really dumb for forcing this. We can attack. Oh, actually, we're going to have to attack a 3rd time to get trap, aren't we? So I think my calculation is off. Yeah, I'm going to let this resolve. I can't risk my frog dying. Okay. No benefit in casting Delta. Chalice does still counter my Nethergoyf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exile 3 cards from my graveyard. Doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3. It's flying. I'm going to go to combat. I'm going to attack. I'm going to discard 1. So we're hitting here and knocking them down to 7. Doesn't really matter. Like, trap just doesn't benefit us really. I should actually probably go Lost Well Path. Should I? Yeah, I think Lost Well Path makes more sense because we've got plenty of power to kill them next turn. There's no point in discarding here. I am going to go Lost Well Path because Forge just doesn't matter here unless they're able to somehow miraculously gain a bunch of life. Okay, so I'll take this. Okay, we're going to do the well. I think we just put this on top of our library. So we have 2 forces in a row. It doesn't really matter. And I'll just put this on the bottom because I don't know. Yeah, okay. So we draw a 2nd force. And we've got double force up in case it matters. We have double daze up technically too because we can cast a daze if we need to with our mana. All right, they're going to get to churn through a bunch of their deck. We don't have to worry about trap, which is a huge relief. They don't have any human creatures that can excel our frog. So they're attacking for 6. I'm trying to think of a situation like broadside bombardiers would be very scary, but I can force it. Touch the Spirit Realm is the scariest thing they could do here. And even if, well, yeah, if they touch, I don't have enough cards to pitch to kill them. Yeah, so please don't have Touch the Spirit Realm. All right, we're taking 7, we're dropping to 8. They are getting a treasure token. So our daisies are incrementally worse now. Oh, arena. Sure. I don't think that does anything. I don't think that does anything either. All right. So we're going to go draw a card. I'm going to discard this. I'm going to exile 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to attack for lethal. It was like, it went up automatically. So when I clicked it, like, it was like unattacking. Yeah, I'm not going to pitch any additional cards. I'll just force whatever they cast here. They did have freaking Touch the Spirit Realm. Oh, and I can't do anything about it. Such a beating. I don't think I can win now. Yeah. I wouldn't have been able to stifle even if I had it. Okay, they can attack for a lot here, and I don't think I can survive. Yeah, because they can go to Catacomb, they can go to Archive. Yeah, so that's a really sad sequence of draws there. Or that's like literally the only thing they could have had, I think. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, let's see if Dungeoneer becomes... This is 6. They are attacking for lethal. I can't do anything. I'm going to concede. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the sideboard. I think what we do here for this matchup is Nethergoyf's a very good card if we can get it on the table early and just bully them. Long Goodbye is pretty bad because most of their important one-stop creatures are 3. Toxic Deluge would have been live there. Harbinger, I don't think does enough. Hydroblast does come in. This is a good answer to Chalice. It also blows up Moxen and tokens. I think that comes in. And then this. Actually, Bowmaster is one of the best cards you can have in this matchup. I'm going to take out my Tamiyos. They don't do enough. Stifle does stop Touch the Spirit Realm. Consign to Memory. Can stop triggers. We have to cut some more cards. I think we cut... I don't want to cut Daze. I don't want to cut Stifle. Emperor of Bones, not great. Thoughtseize is actually pretty good against them, especially on the draw. Or on the play. Emperor of Bones. Let's say they bin something. I mean, I can gain the initiative with this. These baubles don't really help other than just being artifacts that we draw. And they are kind of dead air. I don't think our opponent will Chalice 0, but they could. Oh, yeah, actually, I'm going to cut these. These don't do anything against their deck, I don't think. So I'll bring the baubles back in just so I can have a few artifacts. All right, that leaves us with 2 more cuts. We are pretty heavily loading our 2-drop slot if we play Emperor of Bones along with both side Bowmasters. I think we cut it. Their graveyard isn't that important, and I think we really need to be lucky to snipe something. I can cut a Force. I don't want to cut Dazes on the play. Is it correct to cut a Force? It might be. I'm going to cut this Bloodchief's Thirst. They don't have enough creatures that are targetable. That are like 1 or less. In fact, they may not have any creatures that can kill. Yeah, so that's an easy cut. Okay, so this hand is quite good. We open Thoughtseize. They do play. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. And I'm just gonna open Thoughtseize, and then Bowmasters is an easy play that we can get out there that can start doing damage and start interacting and making it hard for our opponent to block our attacks. They're mulling to 6. So cards we'll probably have to take Blood Moon based on our hand. We don't have to take Chalice though because we have Powder Keg. Powder Keg is 2 mana, which is basically an entire turn cycle dedicated to addressing Chalice, but I think it's okay. Okay. They don't have a turn 1 Blood Moon currently. They could definitely get it, but we have Daze. I think the card here is we do take their payoff card because we're not going to be able to daze that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that and plow is what it is. Like it's going to get through one of my cards. So let's pop their hand out here. Scariest thing they could do would probably be yeah, they can turn one Bloodwind and I'll just daze it. If they have the Spirit Guide, our goose is cooked. I don't think they are likely to have drawn it, but they probably have 4 of them. So that was a 2-for-1, basically. And their hand is Swords to Plowshares and Cavern. So I'm going to untap. We can develop our mana a little bit, and then we can cut off the Cavern. It might actually be better to go ahead and hit the Tomb, though. I like just playing this out. Yeah, and we'll wait a turn. And if necessary, we can daze here. But I'd rather hit the Cavern than the Tomb. Tomb's going to be dealing damage to them. And it's what makes their cards uncounterable. Now, I am definitely tempted to just waste the Tomb. I think, yeah, I have to waste the Tomb here. And then I'll start Bowmastering next turn. They have a lot of mana in their deck, but yeah, this does make it take a little bit longer. Eventually, they will have a soul land or some additional lands, and they will be able to resolve. So what I'll do here is I'm just going to... I think I played Nethergoyf first. It's pretty big. Well, actually, I think I bait with Bowmasters. Because I want Nethergoyf to actually survive the plow, because it can keep coming back, and it'll be a 3-4 immediately. All right, and they are failing to draw land, which is great. So let's go ahead and put this out. All right. And we're going to go to attacks here. Okay, having drawn this land, I'm going to play it out because we will eventually use it. We can use it as a fail trigger, or we can use it to get our swamp. I'm going to play this out first to buff my army token, just to do a little more damage. Because the name of the game is aggroing them before they get to initiative creature mana. If they plow here, that's great, and then I can safely deploy my Nethergoyf, but I don't want to deploy Nethergoyf yet. They're taking it. Yeah, I'm going to wait one more turn and try to get them to plow one of my orcs. That way I can get Nethergoyf in. I'll just... Do I want to surveil here? I think it's worth surveilling. I'm not going to lose scared of Bloodwind. Surveilling something good to the graveyard would be great here. This is going to definitely get plowed, so I can just overload them with threats now. I can cast Psychic Frog and Nethergoyf this turn. I'm going to start by attacking. They are going to need to start plowing eventually. They can't do this forever. And touching that is fine. They're still taking 2. I don't believe they have some sort of sweeper in their deck. Okay, here comes the initiative creature, uncounterable. If they do this, we're definitely taking the initiative. They choose not to. I'm going to attack first. Then I can deploy Powder Keg and Nethergoyf this turn. That's fine. And then I can just blow up Powder Keg for 0, and that'll give me a ton of extra power if I need to outmuscle something in combat. All right, and I think we've got a clean kill here. I'm going to choose no here. I'm going to attack with everything. And then if they do something to potentially decrease the amount of damage, like by plowing or something like that, they've got 6. So I'll gain that life, that's fine. Now I'm just going to sacrifice this for 0, puts an artifact in my graveyard, and it gives me lethal. Yep. All right. Game 3 is going to be hard because we're on the draw again. I like our current sideboard configuration. I can't think of anything we really need to do. Harbinger does turn off. They had a basic planes there. It does turn off. It's so slow though. I think it's too slow. It's not going to come down when it's at a point where it still matters. I think we keep our deck the way it is. For game 3, we've got a pretty good hand. I like the ability to stifle the initiative trigger. I like the ability to waste the most important card in their deck to waste, which is definitely Cavern of Souls. So I think, yeah, we're keeping this. Right, they're going to Chalice. Blood Moon, turn 1. Unfortunately, we have to counter this. I think I'll pitch one of the Brainstorms. Okay, hopefully that was a big part of their opening volley, because they spent a lot of cards to do that. All right, so I think here it's totally reasonable just Island Ponder. It's definitely possible they could have a second Blood Moon. It's also possible they could have... It's unlikely that they would have initiative creature here, but stifling the initiative trigger would be good. Let's see. They could have to tap this. They would have to have a Petal and or a Mox and an initiative creature to initiative next turn. I think I'm going to go ahead and take a turn to set up my mana base. I want to find another fetch so I can get a black source. And I want to find a Nethergoyf. Double Bowmaster and black source. I think this is good. I think I take all these cards. And then what I can do is I can waste, and then I can... do I have the luxury of doing that? I think I do. So I am going to do it like this, and I can play at the Wasteland next turn. All right, let's see if they have any other scary turn 1 plays. I mean, Daze basically is another reason we could potentially play something out. Oh, wow. They were all in on that play. If we waste the City of Traders, they'll have no mana. I think that's a very reasonable play. But I think what's better is wasting the land that follows, since we have Daze. We can even hardcast Daze. Getting some lag. All right. Yeah, I'm going to just be patient. Because City of Traders will waste itself when they play their next land. They may be waiting, like saving up for some big explosive play. That is definitely something they can do. Here's the question. Do I want to go ahead and Brainstorm just to get the Brainstorm out of my hand and dig into potential good stuff? I think that is, it's okay to not get a perfect Brainstorm here. I can shuffle away one of these cards. I'll shuffle away the backup land. So I'll put that on top. All right. So I'm going to get my land. I think I can just pass everything I can do. I can do it at instant speed. And I'd like to have the ability, if they do, somehow get an initiative creature into play to be able to turn on Revolt. Okay, so they're doing that. That's fine. Oh, that's it? Okay. Well, I'm going to just go ahead and get my swamp here. Now we're wasteland proof, basically. There's nothing in our deck that we can't cast. We have no double blue spells in our deck. No double black spells. So this might... Blood Moon might be able to slow us down in terms of not letting us double spell, but it's not going to hurt us in other ways. Nethergoyf is a great pickup. Nethergoyf is already a 3/4. Here's the question. Do we want to just go ahead and go wide with an additional Bowmasters? Or do we want to deploy a Nethergoyf? I think we want to deploy a Nethergoyf. And then, let's say hypothetically they can deal with the Orc army body. Then we have a backup body. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about this game. So if they touch our army, for example, that's totally fine with us. Okay, this does not represent initiative creature unless they are willing to pitch, and it won't be an uncounterable initiative creature. All right. I mean, I could just stifle this. Yeah, I think I just stifle the trigger. It's going to target that. I'm just going to stifle it. Now, when we waste their Ancient Tomb, we are putting them pretty far back. I'll wait and see what I draw before I waste. There's no reason to waste now. A second waste is great. I think I'm just going to play it and let them know how dead they are. Now, I'm going to go like this. Play out another Bowmasters just to do further damage here. And we will attack for a lot, for 6, I think. So they're on like a 1-turn clock, basically. Maybe 2 turns. And if they have the audacity to play an initiative creature, we're definitely taking the initiative from them. Yeah, we just got lucky that we had the cards we needed to stop them. If they were able to touch our Nethergoyf, that would definitely slow our clock down. But I feel like we won. I'm trying to think of what could stop us from winning here. This might be a Solitude. That would make sense why they're playing out so much mana for Solitude. Fury. Well, Fury would definitely be good here, but it is going to get dazed. Is your last card a Simian Spirit Guide? Good games. Oh wait, it is the last. It is. Wow. Okay. Well, that kind of sucks, but we do have play here. Okay. Sorry. I was so presumptive. Yeah, those take out those creatures. Okay, so here's what we'll do. I'm gonna waste them, and then oh wait, I can't actually get through Fury, can I? Holy cow! Because it's got a huge casting cost, so Fatal Push doesn't deal with it. All right. So we're kind of in a holding pattern here. They can't attack us. They can attack us, but I don't think they should. I'll play this out and I get a Surveil Land. I think it is correct to go ahead and remove this. Note that they did put a Broadside Bombardiers under there, which is good. Yeah. All right. So if they attack us, they hit us for 6. If we attack them, we hit them for 4. Our average draw is much better than their average draw. Okay. So I'm going to... Yeah, do I have anything in my deck to deal with the Resolve Fury? I don't think I do. Let's take a look. So, oh, Hydroblast will do it. Baleful Strix is not going to stop it. Psychic Frog would be good because it'll fly over it. We have a lot of live draws. Let's see if we can find one here with our Undercity Sewer. I think that counts as a live draw. All right. I'm going to start by drawing with this. I might be able to find a fetch. This is pretty good. Daze is still alive, very much so. We don't have a shuffle, so I am going to have to draw through these. So what I'll do is I'll put these back. Excuse me. I'll play this out. Play my Strix. All right, and I'll pass. Magus of the Moon is another creature that we would have to deal with. Did they exile yet another Spirit Guide to do this? Yeah, they did. I mean, we can easily kill it, but I think it's fine to just daze this and get this back. I'm going to be able to start attacking them with Baleful Strix next turn. All right, we draw the other Fatal Push. And let me know in the comments if you think that was like a loose play. This Strix can just always get the initiative back if they somehow get the initiative. All right, nice dodge. If the Strix dies, Nethergoyf becomes a 5/6. So they can never attack us. It's going to be just a death by a lot of little bird taps. Toxic Deluge actually wins. I'm going to attack. No. Yeah, Toxic Deluge gives our creature minus. I'm going to wait on Toxic Deluge. It just feels weird to me because they do have a card in hand and I just don't want to get completely blown out. Maybe I'm being too conservative. Toxic Deluge will kill this. I feel like it's an unnecessary risk. But like we Deluge for 3. This becomes a 3/4. Or actually it'll become a 2/3. Because this will die and we'll get extra power. All right, I don't think I'm going to Deluge. I think it's correct to just keep doing this. Especially now that we drew the second Goyf. And now we can just attack him with both of them and win. If they are playing a second Fury, no, that doesn't really help, does it? Okay, Cavern. They'd be crazy to cast an initiative creature here. Fable is a good card. I will push the token. So they're tapped out. So we can be pretty safe to attack with both these Goyfs. Okay, they conceded. Yeah, that was surprising. That was a nice punctuation to the otherwise pretty locked out game. The fact that they had Fury and their last card was a Simian Spirit Guide to pitch to. That was exciting. Let's get into the game. So we're 2-1. And again, I do think that I lost the game against Breakfast because I just didn't manage my time correctly. And I'm going to blame this box over here. Because, okay, just so you can see what normally I play over here. And it's like super easy to like, because it's like right by the cards, but there are just like little moments like throughout the games where I'm like, oh wait, I have priority. I didn't notice this box was white now. And so a lot of people, like, I guess only like one player was complaining that it was over here. It is a lot easier for me to do this, but I'm gonna try to get used to having it over here, because somebody's complaining, why do you have the text box floating over it? No, none of the other creators have that. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I've never seen anybody else do this before, but it is more ergonomic for me. So let me know in the comments whether you care one way or the other. All right, after some long rounds, this may be a very quick one. Our opponent appears to be an Oops All Spells player. This is such a good anti-Oops hand. I mean, it's like everything we could possibly want. It's got Graveyard Hate. It's got Double Force. Gosh, even though it doesn't have anything. Okay, I'm going to assume that 3 days ago they were playing Oops. They're still playing Oops. And I'm going to get completely blown the heck out if they're not. But they might be on a different, combo deck if they're not on Oops. I'm just going to... All right, and my wife just came in to inform me that she's taking the kids to a birthday party, so I will have a quiet house for the next few hours. I might even record a second league. We'll see if my energy level's up. I got a good night's sleep last night. All right, the moment of truth. Are they on Oops, or are they on some completely like fair strategy that's going to destroy me? The way they're thinking about their land drop and stuff does give me the vibe that they might be on Oops, but they didn't mulligan. Okay, pedal. Okay, so yeah, I'm vindicated in keeping this hand. Ritual. It's a lot of mana. Therapy, they're going to name Force of Will, I presume, here. Nothing I can do about it. I could force. Yep, they always name Force. I could have forced and protected myself. I'm just going to have to hope that Now Spell Bomb can stop them from winning here. I'm trying to think of what they could have in their deck. They could have Memory's Journey, but they would need 2 blue sources to be able to play that out. Okay, when enters, reveal cards from the top of your library until they reveal the leading card. They could have Stifle. I doubt they have Stifle. Well, we're not going to counter that. All right. They're revealing their library. Let's take a look at their graveyard. I'm going to pop it out here so we can see it nice and big. Okay, there are their Narcomoebas. I think if we hit the Narcomoebas, there's nothing they can do. Let's take a look, though. I'm going to pop this out before I decide what to do. The Narcomoebas, unfortunately, I do see a bridge from below. So if they get the Narcomoebas in play, we're in trouble. Let's see how many... All their Elvish Spirit Guides are accounted for, so they're not going to be able to Memory's Journey in response. My understanding is we just hit this, and they don't have enough cards to... Let's see, is there any Stifle type effects that we can see in here? No, this is kind of a cool card, Hydroelectric Specimen, but they just play it because of the land. Yeah, I don't see any reason not to just hit their graveyard now. Whoa, how did they get green? Jack-o'-lantern. Okay, so this is dangerous. So let's see what cards they choose. So Jack-o'-lantern is... I didn't see it in their graveyard. Maybe I'm a dummy. Let's take a look at what Jack-o'-lantern does. In exile is Jack-o'-lantern. Sacrifice Jack-o'-lantern. Exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Draw a card. Or exile Jack-o'-lantern from your graveyard. Add 1 mana of any color. So here they're... What do they do? Okay, so they get a Poxwalkers from this. Okay. Can they beat us down with just Poxwalkers? What are they going to put in their deck? Sink into Super, Sink into Super, Sink into Super. Interesting. So they are planning to just beat us down, I think. Let's take a look. They have 3 draws, and they can attack us for 5 each turn, but they're not going to... Am I missing something? Okay, so their deck is 3 Sink into Stupors now? Is that right? All right. Well, we're learning. I'd much rather be learning this right now than at like Eternal Weekend. Okay, so their graveyard is exiled. I just want to make sure I got that correctly. Sink into Stupor, Sink into Stupor, Sink into Stupor. Okay. Because they're going to draw a card, they attack for 5. Draw a card, attack for 5. Draw a card, attack for 5. This doesn't have any other abilities other than it's a 2/3 flyer. So I think they can only attack us. Yeah, I think we still win. Okay, that's a great draw. I think if I play a Tamiyo, I can actually chump the Baleful Strix Spy. They could have something else in their hand, though. They do have 2 more cards in their hand that I'm somehow missing. Like something to speed up the clock. Oh, they could have the freaking... They could actually have the creature, whatever her name is. Yeah, I totally neglected. I didn't even look to see if they had it. And let's see if that's what's actually happening here. They're playing it tapped. Okay, let me take a look and see if Thos is in the graveyard here. Is Oracle in hand? That makes no sense. They do have Thassa's Oracle in hand. Why wouldn't they cast it? They must think we have days. Okay, so they're giving us way more credit than we deserve because we didn't even realize that Thassa was a potential option here. Okay, now I see what they're doing. Okay. So if I ponder and I find a second wasteland, I don't think they can win. Let's see. Okay, let me think about this. Oh my goodness. This is such a crazy sequence of events. They're not going to be able to win through combat. We don't have to worry about that. What they're going to do is they're going to just keep playing these lands and they're going to Thassa's. And they think that we might have a daze. So if we find a daze, that's great. If we find a second wasteland, we can wasteland them, and then they would be able to draw a land, play it. Then they'd have to draw another land, and they could play it. So they have 2 more lands in their deck. So we need to waste them 3 times, which is unlikely. I'm going to go ahead and ponder and see what we find here. Fatal Push doesn't do anything here. Baleful Strix doesn't do anything. This is sadly a shuffle, and I think we're going to lose. We really need to find a force of will. If we find a force of will, we'll be okay. So had we forced their initial Cabal Therapy, they would have just probably, waited. Yeah, I think forcing the initial Cabal Therapy would have been the right play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scare them. I'm going to waste one of their lands. I'm going to bobble myself and see what I would draw. Flipping Tamiyo doesn't really do anything here. I mean, actually, yeah, it kind of does because, well, that's a good card. I'm going to keep that. And maybe keeping it will make them wait another turn. Wait, actually, now at this point, I've played so many cards out, they should know my last card is Psychic Frog, and they should be able to go for it. I think I just made a fatal error, and now they know that they can go for it. Actually, no, I'm getting my unknown card right now. So if they do go for it, I'll just brainstorm. Okay, they're going for it. If we can find a force or a brainstorm or a daze or a fatal push. No, we can't find a fatal push because we don't have any mana left. Had I known they would go for it, I definitely could have just... we've had so many opportunities to win this game and we squandered them. Okay, well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I think we just daze here. That way we hold the force for next turn. But they could have... Yeah, there's no reason not to force here. Am I missing something? Okay, that's it. Wow, we did not deserve to win that game. I just want to emphasize, I kept the greediest, most speculative hand. And then I just proceeded to make comedic errors throughout the game. Oh my goodness, that was such an embarrassing sequence of of plays. I really was just stumbling all over myself. My opponent gave me the win because they gave me more credit than I deserved. Okay, Consigned Memory is definitely coming in. It stops triggers. Borrower doesn't really do anything. Harbinger does stop them from black, but yeah, it's not a good card. Orcish Bowmasters is way too slow. Long Goodbye can deterministically kill Thassa, but Thassa's never going to go on the stack unless we have screwed up terribly. Jack-o'-lantern, such an interesting tech card. Okay, let's take out some cards we don't need. Well, Emperor of Bones, in a situation where they haven't done anything, for some reason they pass turn with they're never going to have their graveyard. Yeah, they're never going to have a graveyard there. Bloodchief's Thirst, not good. There's nothing worth killing in their deck. We need to cut a couple more cards. I don't want to cut Strix. I think Strix is just should they go a beatdown route, it's definitely going to stop them. I think Thoughtseize definitely stays in. I think Fatal Push has come out. We can keep Nethergoyf just because it is a way to win. Brazen Borrower can bounce stuff back to their hand. I think that's better than Fatal Push. I genuinely don't think we're going to have to fight against creatures. If we do, they'll be like zombies because they do have a bridge from below, so they can create tokens. All right. Powder Keg can destroy zombies. It can destroy Moxen, but it seems like super marginal and it costs 2 mana. Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. Actually, yeah, I think Bowmaster is way better than Nethergoyf, but I already submitted. I don't think it'll let me change it. They've already submitted too. Okay. Let's see if I can have a less error-prone game than last time. If they don't immediately go for it, this is a pretty good hand because we've got Thoughtseize and we've got... and they're going to know that it's a force hand because I didn't take very long to keep it. Okay, they're Thoughtseizing here. Okay, so here's my thinking. They're probably going to freak out if I just counter this. I don't think they're likely to be able to win. I'm going to pitch Psychic Frog. They would have to win this turn, and if I get to untap, then what I can do is I can just Thoughtseize the win con, or the enabler out of their hand. Okay, 2. Are they going to just win now? Okay, they're just getting the petals out of their hand. That's great. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start by just Thoughtseizing them. They can't counter this. I just take the Spy, and their hand does nothing. Okay, and I will play this out. And then next turn, I'll use it to flip Tamiyo faster so we can start regrowing our Thoughtseize. We won't ever regrow a Thoughtseize, but we will want to regrow Force of Will. So they would have to get another one, and they would not have the mana. They have a Narcomoeba already in hand, which is terrible for them. I should have looked at their deck a little bit more carefully to see, but I think they're playing 4 Pacted Negations. Yeah, I'm just going to keep this right now because I want to use it to flip Tamiyo. So Tamiyo comes out. I'm going to play this now. I don't want that land. All right, and during their upkeep, I'll just set a step on their upkeep. I'm going to see what they're going to draw. Okay, they're drawing a Lotus Petal. So there was one draw that is not accounted for. That could have been the spell. All right. So we get our card. That's a great one. Now Spell Bomb. Okay, so I do think it's more important for us to play out now Spell Bomb just as insurance than to flip Tamiyo. So I'm going to attack with Tamiyo first. And yeah, because I'd feel really dumb if they were able to just like untap Thoughtseize, take my Now Spell Bomb away. Yeah, and I think we'll pass with two forms of interaction. I don't think we're going to lose this unless I make a catastrophic mistake. And by catastrophic, I mean like some extremely, like I don't think they're going to have a way with the very limited resources at their disposal to like outwit me somehow. I think it's going to be me destroying myself somehow. I would like a land now. Oh, this is much better than a land. I'm going to attack here. I'm going to just deploy my frog because that represents a win con, and we're just going to keep trying to draw lots of interaction here. But we've got a lot of interaction, which is precisely what we want. They have a single spell that they have to resolve. They have to resolve it on their turn when my Force Negation is live. So they would need to draw either two of these and exhaust our force. Okay, they're doing something here. Dread Return. I think we just force. I'm trying to decide how we force. I think we force pitching negation. Oh, wait, actually, if I negate this. No, they're flashing it back, so they won't have access to it later. I'm trying to think, how do they win if they do this? I think I'm going to hold my force, so I'm just going to exile their graveyard. Okay, so now they don't have a graveyard anymore. That goes to their graveyard. So that was one reason to potentially force negation it there. Yeah, maybe that was a mistake. For some reason, I thought they were flashing it back so it would be gone, but it's still in their graveyard, so they can still use it next turn or eventually. That was a very costly play for them. Now I'm just going to attack with everything, and I probably will just flip Tamiyo here. All right, we were playing super carefully. No whammies. Land would be all right. All right, a Goyf speeds up the clock considerably, but I want to flip Tamiyo. I'll get Goyf on later. Double Goyf next turn. Double Goyf next turn. We should be able to kill him in 2 swings. And we can buy back a Thoughtseize. Yeah, I think what I do next turn is I buy back a Thoughtseize just to see what kind of disruption they may have drawn. We can't Thoughtseize the top of their deck, but we do have forces for that. We've also got a pretty like a variegated array of interactions. So a single Cabal Therapy is not going to collapse our hand like it did game 1. Okay, they concede. We had, yeah, we stopped their initial volley and we got really, really lucky off the top of our deck. I'm not going to say that that was skill. That was me getting lucky. All right, we've got one more match. We are 3-1. We're doing great. Like we've only given like, I think that breakfast match again, the one that got away. All right, let's see how round 4 goes. I'll see you in round 4. Or, I'm sorry, round 5. All right, Saito-san. I have played against this person. I think they're on Delver. Let's take a look. They are the Maverick player. And I think Maverick is a pretty bad matchup for us. It's not like a horrible matchup because we do have a lot of creatures that are not blue. They can attack in, but they... Yeah, name of the game is... The game is going to be, they're going to be favored the longer the game goes on. That much is sure. This hand is great if they don't waste us. If they waste us, this hand sucks. Let's take a look and see how many wastelands they're likely playing. Likely 4. This is like not like some aberrational list. When they play, these are variants of the same deck. They're just like white, black, green enthusiasts, essentially. They always play 4 wasteland in their 23 lands. We can't keep this. So I'm going to mulligan. This, similar situation to the last one, but we have 2 unknowns. I'm going to keep this, and I think we just put back one of the bubbles. There's no reason to subject our Underground Sea to a wasteland. I'm going to see what their top card is before I play my land. But the problem of not playing out Underground Sea and fearing Wasteland too much is that we don't get to turn 2 Strix potentially. Okay, so they got a Catacombs on top. Yeah, I think if my opponent just plays Underground Sea and doesn't do anything, I'm going to waste them. All right, hopefully this is a land. It is not. Okay. Yep, we're going to be bolting that bird. We don't really need colorless mana for anything, so I am thinking bolt the bird and waste. They play a ton of land. This could totally be wrong. Leave a comment if you think I'm going to get blown out here with a timestamp so I can rewatch this and see the error of my ways. Okay, thank goodness. We knew that they did have more land from our bauble, so maybe that was not a necessary play. But what I'm going to be doing, okay, they seem to care a lot about mana, which is, they're a pretty mana-hungry deck. I think they're playing like 23 lands or something. All right, so I think pushing this is not a bad idea, but I do want to land first, and I will brainstorm to find a land. See if I can find a land here. If I brainstorm luck, I'm, oh, so sad. This does happen. Now they know to waste, and I think the game's over. I'm going to put these Strixes back. We can't even use them. So the good news is if they wait to waste for some reason, which I don't think they would do. They're an experienced player. Okay. I was going to say we can stifle, but I think it's more important to get Nethergoyf on the table now. So at least we have something. Mother is scary. I'm actually going to just push that. And the second threat, Outland Liberator, doesn't matter. It's just like kind of a somewhat scary beater. I'm going to push the mom though, because she becomes a total nightmare if you don't deal with her. And yeah, we may not be able to deploy any threats, but I'm not winning a game where mom is active. I don't think we're likely to draw through. I think we're probably screwed. But I wasn't going to mull to 5. Okay, let's read this. Jorel Moanvuli Recluse. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 cat creature token. This is an older card. I've seen this before. Pay 6 mana until the end of turn. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, where X is the number of cards in your hand. That's not going to be very powerful in this game, but I'm trying to think of how they even draw a second card each turn. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, there they go. They get a cat. All right. It was like right there on the table. I should have seen it. Okay. Well, I'm going to probably push her rather than the mana source just because she does represent a potential, creature engine. We have one more lame duck turn before we're going to be able to get... Let's see, how big is this? Our Nethergoyf is 3/4, which can deter any sort of aggression. Do we think that our opponent is likely to be able to... Like, if they play a Sylvan Library, I will absolutely get rid of that. But I don't think that's the play right now. I think what we do is we play out Nethergoyf just to keep some of the... to make them have to think twice about attacking. All right, and it's definitely possible they just plow and they keep attacking us, and that's fine. But if we can keep them back for even a turn... Okay, they've got lots of lands, which, yeah, this is going to happen. It was foretold by Be Excellent that would likely happen. Okay, let's see what they get here. I like these kind of fair matchups. This is fun. We're going to be jamming creatures and assuming that like neither of us gets mana screwed like I did here. These should be very eventful games. Okay, we're taking a ton. See, we're taking, wow. Nowadays, if they print her, she'd definitely be a, probably like a 3/2 or something instead of a 1/2. But I'm glad that she's only 1/2. Okay, that's not what I wanted to see. I don't think there's any reason not to just play Tamiyo out. She can... I think taking things off the board is another option. They have 0 cards in hand. This is the only thing that is scary because if they do find like a... Well, if they find a Sylvan Library, I'll have a turn to do it. I'm going to play Tamiyo out, and I'm just going to plan to block something. Buy myself a little more time. It's lucky that Outland Liberator hasn't flipped yet. It will be able to target my clues, though. Once it does flip. I would definitely not fault someone for scooping at this point. We're so far behind. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, they can draw, and they can trigger. Yeah, I didn't think about Vexing Bauble doing it. It's just like incidental value for them, isn't it? And these 2/2s are not nothing. Like, that's going to trade with a Strix, There's the Sylvan Library I was worried about. So I'm definitely pushing her. I'm kind of regretting not pushing her last turn. Okay, so I will block. So I guess it doesn't matter. Unless they can somehow... They can't transform it at instant speed, so... All right, land, please. They are teasing me. Wow, they did not even give me a land for my ponder. I'll scoop if I don't get a land. Okay, I did get a land. All right, so I'm going to just push her, and I think I just keep the Tamiyo back. There's no real point in creating a clue here. I don't think I have that luxury. I'll just get this because I don't want to get screwed off one of my colors. I realize that I mean, they're going to waste me. They're going to waste me. I'm going to hit her so they can't. They're going to get a lot of cards here, all this Sylvan Library. But I don't want them to also get another 2/2. Tamiyo plus Sylvan Library is a combo. I hadn't ever thought about that before, but it's yet another way to flip her. Yeah, they've got lots of incidental ways of drawing cards in their deck. Here's a mom. I'm just going to concede. There's no... Well, like, I want to save my clock because I'm not winning this game. See, what would I have drawn? Oh, did you see that? Like, the button moved. I clicked on draw a card, and then it moved, and so I went straight to sideboarding, so I didn't get to see what I draw. I don't like when a user interface, like, moves buttons around. I feel like if you put a button in a place, you shouldn't move it. That's just like a little UX design feedback for Daybreak if they're watching this. Okay, so Toxic Deluge, definitely a good card here. All 4 of the Orcish Bowmasters are coming in. They are great here, especially because my opponent has a propensity to incidentally draw cards. We've got Long Goodbye. I think that it's not as good as a Fatal Push. This is a matchup where Emperor Bones could be good. Harbinger doesn't play here. We can bounce tokens. It's not the worst. Okay. Cards that are coming out. I think Force comes out. It's just terrible. Daze is pretty weak here. Stifle might be good. I'm just trying to figure out if there are any other cards that are totally dead. I think our Nile Spell Bombs are basically dead. And one of the great things about having the Baleful Strix in the deck is we still have 4 artifacts in our deck for the purpose of Nethergoyf, even though we cut these like essentially dead cards. I didn't see any graveyard interaction at all. All right. This may be the final match game of the series, but we have a good hand. Wasteland is still a problem, but I'm going to keep. And I can't cast this in response to anything because it's a sorcery, but I can cast it next turn should I choose to. I'm not going to use my mana. I'm just going to play this out and dare them to waste me. And if they just waste pass, then I will play land, and then I will be able to emergency brainstorm if I need to. Are not wasting me. That's great. They'll probably do it during upkeep. That's the optimal time to do it. It's fun. This could be a very short game if... Oh, no, that's great. Yeah, let's play that. I'll pass. So I can Incept Surveil. They're not going to have Wasteland Recursion, I don't think. They play... The only Wasteland Recursion spell they would probably play would be... it's not here. It's called Ramanop Excavator. Yeah, they don't have Life from the Loam or anything like that. So I don't see anything in there to get their Wastelands back. No, so basically, I don't think there's any harm in us just... Let's see. Yeah, I don't see a single anti-basic, and I actually kind of want to keep basics in my hand because they probably brought in 2 Paths to Exile. The worst thing that could happen would be they start like looping or getting Wastelands out of their deck, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and Sewers here. I'm aware that like that, thinking about that stuff did take us some time. I'm just going to put this in the graveyard. I don't think it's that great against them, and now we've got a creature in our graveyard. Strix is going to be good. I don't think they play Bowmasters. They don't have Bowmasters even in their sideboard. So Strix is going to be very good against their deck. Okay. Psychic Frog's even better. However, I'm happy to bait with the Strix because there's like, it's just going to sit there. They're not going to get rid of it. I don't think. They can get rid of it with that thing that kills artifacts, but they have to flip it before they can really do that without sacrificing their creature. Okay, we get a card draw, and we're pulling ahead value-wise. And soon the Nethergoyfs will arrive. That is odd timing, but that is fine. And I am very happy to have done that. Yeah. So now we have days up. We can even daze and surveil again, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that. This is the second Wasteland. Nothing we can do about that. All right. So I'm definitely in the market for another land. I would love to just naturally draw one so I don't have to brainstorm for one. I will ponder for one because I have been brainstorm locked too many times. Actually, yeah, there's not really anything we want to put back. Bloodchief's Thirst is the weakest card in our hand. If we brainstorm, then we can ponder next turn. But I think I'm going to... Holy cow. Yeah, we would have been brainstorm locked. Gosh, come on, lands. I know there are lots of lands in my deck. Not like this. All right. This sucks. This really sucks. Like, if they just have another Wasteland, like, there's just nothing we can do. We're not going to be able to brainstorm to find another land. We'll just have to wait to draw another natural one. Okay, they don't have it. So I think considering that we're likely not going to have a land next turn anyway, I am going to daze this, and I'll just get another Surveil to try to find another land. She's a value engine. She's not, like, super powerful, but, yeah, there's a very good chance that I'm not going to draw a land here. All right, I didn't draw a land, so that was a very good play. I'm going to put that in the graveyard. I don't want to have to draw through it. And now Nethergoyf's going to be freaking massive once he eventually gets cast. The speed with which they fired off that Swords to Plowshares does make me think maybe they have more. Uh-oh. This could be Knight. Okay. You draw a card and lose 1 life. Oh, this is the Trample, the Mosswood. Yeah, this is a good card. This is a great value card. So essentially, it's like kind of like a cantripping card, but it's just... And whenever it dies, you can get it again. So this is precisely the kind of value engine that green needed. I'm glad they printed that card. All right. I'm going to brainstorm, and I'm not going to get brainstorm locked because my deck doesn't hate me that much, does it? Okay, great. Okay, so cards we don't care about. I think this Thirst is still useful. We don't have any sorceries. We do have sorcery in our graveyard, so I'm tempted to put it back. And I think we don't need... I know this is sacrilege, but... Well, we're going to actually redraw these cards, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. I should have put Bloodchief's Thirst on top just in case I need it. So here comes our swamp. And Nethergoyf number 1. 5/6 already. Yeah, this is precisely what we need. So if our opponent is dirtling and they don't have a plow, okay, that's plow number 1. They're going to need all their plows if they want to stop my Nethergoyf beats. Next turn I'll probably play Nethergoyf Tamiyo. Okay, here's the 3/2. It has trample. And they can recur it if the game goes long. All right. So I think We ponder. We do want to find a land drop. All right, we found a land. So I don't need this Bowmaster at all, really. I'm just going to take the land, and next turn I'll take the Bloodchief's Thirst. So we're going to play Tamiyo out, and we're going to play out a Nethergoyf, and we'll save the frogs for later. But this Nethergoyf, they don't have a plow, is going to defend me for a little bit. If they have a path, I'm totally fine with that because I actually don't want the cards on top of my deck, and I would prefer to have an island. All right. So that worked out well for us. Like we got it out of their hand. We got a card for it. Tamiyo can debuff their squad, and we're going to start playing out. Okay, they have a plow for that too. They just had a really strong removal hand. Now they're going to get in for some damage, but they're going to need to attack a lot of times. And I'm happy to see that land because that's not a spell. Sylvan Library is not a problem if we Bowmaster, and we are absolutely going to Bowmaster and hit that Dryad Arbor. So I think next turn is going to be Psychic Frog, Bowmaster. I think what I'll do, I think I do play out the land because it represents like Brainstorm Shuffle, and that'll probably be the last land I play this game. All right, I'm going to pass, and I'm going to see if they want to use their mana end step to plow my dude, and I should, during their draw step, I should get the ability to do this. Black, you're welcome to use your Sylvan Library, Saito. So this will ping this, and I don't think they're going to use it, but if they have a plow, they can plow and then they can use it. They just have like record volume of plows here. Abrupt Decay is fine, so they are still going to get the cards. Okay, did they mean to Abrupt Decay my frog? I think they should have Abrupt Decayed the Orcish Bowmasters so they could use this. Well, they are empty. I'm not going to block this if they attack. Okay, they didn't attack. That's good. Okay, so I think we frog and we... No, because I could potentially multi-spell. If I have two frogs, I want to deploy them. If I have a Nethergoyf, I want to deploy it. Okay, I do have two frogs. I don't want to shuffle back this Strix though. So I'm just gonna go Strix. No, so I'm gonna go Strix first, and I can draw the frog, and then I can deploy the frog. And I doubt they have sweepers in their creature-heavy deck. This does make my Brainstorm worse, but it shouldn't matter if we're drawing cards like crazy here. It's our last land on our deck, which is a little bit disconcerting, but yeah. We've got 12 minutes to finish this game and to finish the subsequent game. I'm not going to attack. I don't have good attacks. And they're basically stuck. If they use Sylvan Library's ability, they're going to regret it. All right, they're just fetching the Thin. They don't have any Surveil lands in their deck, maybe? I mean, they may be so desperate they do this. But I'll definitely kill the Mosswood. What is this? Knight? Zenith? Let's see what they get. This is going to be the best card in their deck, basically, at this point. It's Curb Ranger. Okay, that's a good card. I think we could just trade off with this. Simplify the board, and then I can attack in. So I do still take trample damage. All right, if I can find another Bowmaster, that'll be really strong. I'm going to start by pondering. Toxic Deluge for 1 is not good here. I don't want any of these cards. All right, I'm getting the spinner in this very time-intensive match. Come on, MTGO, don't do this to me. Okay. Oh, yeah. We'll just push. I think that's the game. Yeah, they conceded. Great. We saved some time. 11 minutes 30 should be enough to close, but this is a really, really slow kind of grindy matchup. It's a fun matchup. I love this. I think they're favored because there's a saying that when a fair blue deck faces a fair non-blue deck, the fair non-blue deck is favored because we are trying to do stuff that stops combo and things like that. They don't have to care about that. I'm going to take Dazes out. I'm going to bring in more removal. Long goodbye. We didn't see any red spells. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to want to force stuff. They may even have Veil. I didn't see Veil, but that doesn't mean they don't have it. Take a look. Are there any other cards in our sideboard that are hiding that wouldn't be good? No. All right. Powder Keg actually might not be the worst. They do have a lot of cards that we can potentially hit. Sorry, my UI is so laggy. Okay. I mean, actually, now Spell Bomb is not the worst if you consider the fact that they do have that one creature that can be recurred. It is, something that feeds the Goyf. Is it better than Daze? Probably not. I think we just bring the Dazes back in and hope to surprise them, because most players wouldn't keep Daze in on the draw. We just don't have anything better to bring in. That might be a weakness of the sideboard, that we don't have anything better to bring in against a truly fair deck. Like, this is the fairest of the fair. Okay. This is a keep. If they overcommit, we can Deluge. We can bait their initial removal with Strix. Vexing Bauble is not a problem. It only affects 2 cards in my entire 75, one of which I do have in my hand, but I will happily discard that because it's going to get worse and worse as the game progresses. I think what we do here is probably just Surveil, and then next turn we can Strix. My reasoning, of course, is we do have other lands and stuff. We can kind of get the Wasteland out of the way. That is a little dangerous. My reasoning is, okay, second bubble doesn't do anything either. My reasoning is, if we Surveil here, they're probably going to waste. But I do want to be able to get my Swamp if they Fatal Push. Or, I'm sorry, if they Path to Exile. So I'm going to go ahead and get some early selection here. That is the nuts. The absolute stone cold nuts here. So I think they're almost certainly going to waste us here. But if they don't, we can deploy a Strix. If they do waste us, I'm going to waste them. They've dumped 2 bad cards onto the table. They actually can't even draw through these anymore without taking pings. That's expected. I would love a path here. Another one is fine. I don't immediately have a way to kill it. The best draw is definitely a land. It's not that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit their land. And then I'm going to attack. And we have days that we can't cast. Yeah, we are in trouble if we don't find a land. It could be that my play was greedy. Getting the Surveil land. Ouchie. Yeah, this could be really bad for us. Actually, we'll eventually draw out a Toxic Deluge and we'll be able to get rid of these. I'm going to be optimistic. Land, please. Okay, Bobble doesn't do it, and actually it gets countered. No, not like this deck. Okay, so we can... I'm going to attack in. Just chip at their life total. It doesn't do anything to wait. But they have active Mom. So we are going to have to get 2 lands here and eventually get... so I can discard Bobble to grow my Goyf. We kind of don't want to attack in with our Orcish Bowmasters anymore because now they can block. Okay, this is fine. So... Oh, they're casting it. I thought they were using the ability. I mean, that's an attacker. That'll get us if we have bad luck with lands for a few more turns. Yeah, we're having bad luck with lands. All right. So I'm not going to attack in. I'm just going to discard this Bobble. And this is a situation where, I totally could have avoided this by getting a Swamp. And think about all the things I could do if I had a Swamp. We just have to hope that they can't kill us. Oh, wow, this is a ton of damage. Yeah, I mean, this might be a lethal clock. Land, please, not like this. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. It's so sad to, get to a situation like this. I'm playing a very responsible mana base. I even trimmed a Wasteland so that I would have more colored mana sources. Anyway, I'm not going to tilt off. I'm not going to go all salty. This happens. And now they can kill our Orcish Bowmasters, which is going to give them, or they can just grow their army. I'm not sure that we're going to have enough life to actually, Toxic Deluge. Toxic Deluge is such a bomb here if we can resolve it. So what we need is, we need a land stat. We're taking 5 here. We're going to 9. We need a land stat so we can deploy a Strix. If we don't draw a land here, we're dead. We're dead. I'm just conceding. That's such a frustrating end to our run. Because yeah, we're going to take 5. We're not even going to be able to Toxic Deluge, and we'll be at 1, and they'll just be able to create more creatures. It's such a frustrating way to lose, but it's totally by my own making. Variance was not kind to me, but I had the power to not lose like that. So I'm going to be beating myself up about that. I'm going to be tossing and turning in the night. I could have just fetched the swamp, and just like, let's imagine what happens if I fetch the swamp there instead of getting greedy and fetching it. First of all, I was going to draw the Bowmasters anyway. I didn't actually surveil that to the graveyard. And again, this was all speculated on them definitely having. I mean, there's no reason, there's no world in which they do not have both their Path to Exiles in. But I was like, well, if they Path, at least I'll get the swamp. And I know they're going to have to waste anyway. It was a dumb play. It was an amateurish play. It was a greedy play. So I hope you learn from my mistake there at the end. But overall, like I think we definitely win if we have black, because look at, like, we'll stick a Strix, we'll stick Goyf, we'll remove their best threat, we'll Toxic Deluge their entire board. Like, and this would have helped us draw to the land. I can draw a card. How far were we from land? So because they disconnected, I can't see the cards. It's just a flaw in their software that they'll probably never fix. Just like they always say, you won the die roll on games 2 and games 3. Even though you didn't win the die roll, you lost the die roll. They're just there's their way of telling you. Like, if I had access to their code base, I'd just go in and like change the logic. It'd take like 2 seconds to add like a little if then, condition check. But anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean any ill will toward the people maintaining this software. I love this game. Richard Garfield was an amazing human being, or still is an amazing human being, who introduced a lot of great games to the world, but like also introduced the best game, and eventually, the best format, which is Legacy. So we're playing the best format of the best game ever made, in my humble opinion. But so what I'm going to do, I love this list. I didn't see anything that needed to be fixed other than my own piloting. I think I'm going to run it back. Like, Thoughtseize as a one-of was great. I never drew it and was just like, oh, that's terrible. It did buff the Nethergoyf. You saw how stocked our Nethergoyfs were. They were some bulky boys going through there, whacking down combo opponents when they stalled out. So the 2 losses are 100% my fault. One, I did play with the little box over there. I think I was probably giving up like 1 or 2 minutes per game, just like not noticing that I had priority because I'm not used to looking over there. But I did like the expanded view where I had like double sideboard, like side by side. I saw that on Max Dortion. He plays like that. Somebody has commented, another comment that somebody said is like, hey, can you hide the text box over on the side where it shows like the log and it shows the comments? I like showing those. I don't think most people, it's very rare that I meet somebody who's like saying nasty things in chat. And it's kind of cool to look down there because I do like to interact with my opponents. I'm not, just cruising through trying to, grind some trophies. I like to learn from them. And a lot of people are fans of the channel, which is great. It's always great to hear. If you're watching this and I match against you, please let me know if I say anything that you think is like derogatory or like denigrating of your skill or anything. Like, I always mean feedback to be constructive and affirming, as opposed to like tearing somebody down. Oh, they're a trash tier player. What the hell? Or complaining about them taking too long or anything like that. I genuinely want to spread positive energy. There's so much evil in the world. There's so much negative stuff going on. So many wars being fought right now. And this is a joy to sit down and engage in a friendly competition where we're using our minds. We're thinking about our opponents, the metacognition associated with it. Somebody commented like, would the games be more exciting if you didn't look up every player before you play them? Like, at Eternal Weekend, I'm definitely going to be looking at my opponents before I sit down next to them, right? Like, I'm going to be looking at what they've historically played, and that's just part of the game. By changing decks constantly, my opponents are not necessarily going to know what I'm on either. So, but if you're a dedicated lands player, I definitely want to know that before I sit down against across the table from you. And I think that's a massive edge. Like, if I hadn't known my opponent was on Oops, I 100% would have mulliganed that winning hand. So I just want to say I really appreciate the feedback in the comments. Thank you for making time to share your insights and telling me. I'm not going to ask for a like. I'm not going to ask for a subscribe or anything like that. You can do that if you want. But what really is helpful for me as a player is comments. So that is the sole thing I ask, even if it's just like, hey, I really enjoyed the video. That makes me feel better, and it reaffirms that I spent like an entire morning recording this. So I hope you're enjoying watching this. I'm going to play this deck a lot more. I think it's extremely well positioned against the three big decks of the format: Painter, Eldrazi, and then of course Blue-Black Reanimator. I think the addition of Thoughtseize, of Emperor of Bones, and of these Strixes should give us a lot of game against all three of those decks. So I'm looking forward to recording some more leagues. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.